Mirko with you. The Giants and the Cubs tonight under the lights at Scottsdale Stadium. It's the Cactus League opener, and Logan Webb and the Giants have taken the field. The Giants emerging ace who had an incredible year last year. We get to see him on the mound for the first time in an exhibition game in 2022. And let's take a look at the lineups tonight. For the Cubs, the visiting team in the Giants spring training opener, a Stanford grad, Nico Hoerner, who's a good young player, Rafael Ortega, Schwindel, Frazier, Gomes, Vargas, Dykman, Velasquez, and Maples. The lineup for the Cubs. So those are the Cubs hitters that will be facing Logan Webb. The plan, Mike, is for Logan to go a couple innings tonight. He says he is just raring to go.
Well, hey, take a look at what he did last year, a breakout year where he emerged as the ace in 26 starts last year, 11-3 with a 3.03 ERA. And he did not lose any of the last 20 starts that he took last year. In fact, the last 20 starts he had, his ERA at 2.40 ranked him second in the league in that regard. He emerged as the ace. And what you see when you take your at-bats against him is you're going to see a low to mid-90s fastball. He'll 2 and 4 seam, slider changeup. But the cut and the sink that he can put on his fastball really is what makes him quite unique. A strike thrower, and he is a bull mentally. He comes at you hard, and he wants to put the pressure on the hitter. Let's take a look at the defense behind Logan Webb tonight, starting in the Giants outfield from left to right. It'll be Gonzalez, Davis, and Yastrzemski. Dubon and Vossler on the left side of the infield, Cruzan and Flores on the right side, and Joey Bart, he'll be in the squat, putting down the signs. And all eyes are watching Joey Bart. It's a big camp for him.
Yeah, obviously the biggest change from last year's team. Logan Webb gets us started with strike one. Biggest change, no Buster Posey back there. So you're right, Joey Bart, big spring for him. And there is some pressure on the young Giants catcher. Slider from Logan Webb misses outside. The Giants won 107 games, more wins than they'd had in the history, as you said it, 139 years as a franchise. To do that, a lot of things have to go well. But to me, the best thing that happened to the Giants last year was this guy.
Well, when you think about where he came, he was just a hopeful last spring and kind of sputtered to get started and get consistent, and all of a sudden, boom, it kicked in. And with each start that he would take, you could see his confidence grow. He's a sinker ball. You'll see a lot of ground balls for both these starting pitchers tonight. Webb for the Giants, Marcus Stroman for the Cubs. Both good sinker ballers. But it's much, much more than that. He perfected his game out of the stretch. He knew how to correct himself on the mound. I mean, he emerged so quickly and grew up so quickly, and here he is, the ace.
And he strikes out the very first hitter that he faces in 2022.
Looked like a changeup to finish off Nico Hoerner. Just same arm actions, circle changeup grip, and just completely bottom out, and Hoerner swings right over the top.
And we saw that shot of Gabe Kapler. We talked to Gabe before the game tonight, and the Giants manager said, man, Logan, we're only going to pitch him a couple innings. We just want to ease him into spring training, but he is in great shape. His arm feels great. He's been working out hard. I mean, it's a big question with the spring training delayed, without the ability for the clubs to work with their players for that long stretch of 100+ days.
Well, you kind of have to remind yourself now that he's 25 years old.
On the ground, Mauricio Dubon makes it 2 down.
And what young pitchers can often do is kind of take the offseason off, just kind of roll into it around January. But that was not the case with Logan Webb. I mean, he understands where he came from last spring, what he accomplished last year, and his expectations about his year coming into 2022 are off the charts high. Off the charts. And he worked his tail off in the offseason, and it shows. The question I asked Gabe Kapler was, what if he has 14 pitches in 2 innings? You're going to throw him out there again? He goes, no. It'll be 2 and out.
So 2 quick outs. Frank Schwindel for the Cubs. Right-handed hitter with some power.
Solid year. Hit over 314 home runs. For a while, man, he was the show in the National League Central.
Yeah, we saw it when the Giants went to Wrigley Field. He was kind of right in the middle of that stretch. Well, with Logan Webb and with lots of other Giants pitching side veteran position players. I think the Giants are not going to force the issue in terms they're going to put in the work before games. They're going to practice hard. They're going to do all that side stuff. But in terms of actual game action, could be for some of those Giants not a lot of it before opening day. Right off his foot.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing too. What Gabe Kapler was talking about. You know, they got some guys on this club with age, and you know those guys are going to get slow played. Well, how do you slow play when you have a 17-game spring training? Well, the answer is it's not that important that they are completely ready once the season starts. They're going to continue to slow play them into everyday playing shape.
Yeah, you trust the fact that especially those veteran position players, as long as they're in shape, the body feels pretty good. You trust the fact that once the bright lights get turned on, they're going to be good to go. And if it takes a few extra weeks at the start of the regular season, so be it. Use your depth.
Exactly. And we're understanding that it's being talked about right now that they are going to expand the roster at least a portion of the first month of the season. What normally is a 26-man team will be expanded to possibly 28 players, which would give 14 extra players, 14 pitchers, just to protect everybody.
Another beautiful pitch from Logan Webb. He's going to be ticked off. It took him 13 pitches to retire the side to start his 2022. Yastrzemski and the Giants coming up next.
Oh, man.
What's wrong?
We'll take a look at the Giants starting lineup in the first exhibition game of 2022. Mike Yastrzemski in the leadoff spot. Wilmer Flores in there as well. Joey Bart, who's going to get probably just one at bat tonight. Hitting cleanup for the Giants. Jalen Davis, Mauricio Dubon, some other familiar names, along with some players who haven't had as much big league experience. So that's the starting lineup for the Giants. We're also going to see a lot of young prospects get in this game as we get toward the middle innings and beyond. And at least at the start, the Giants will face a guy, Mike, you said it, he's got some similarity to Logan Webb. Marcus Stroman on the mound, pitched for the Mets last year.
Take a look at the numbers for Stroman last year. A solid season, 10-13, but look at the ERA, 3.02 in 179 innings. And for Stroman, who's not a big guy, he's 5'7", 180-pounder. He's more like a second baseman. It's like Jose Altuve out there making the start. But what he comes at you with is a low to mid-90s sinker. That's his primary pitch, but he will four-seam it. He can cut it. He can sink it. He has a curveball, a changeup, a slider. He'll throw 6 different types of movement at you.
So Mike Yastrzemski, 25 home runs last year in 139 games. Batting average not probably what he was hoping for at the start of the year. You know, Mike was pretty open, especially once the season ended, looking back on it. Remember, he got hit by a pitch really in his last at bat in spring training, and it impacted him early in the year.
But you take a look at his path. I mean, it took him a while to get to the big leagues. So when that happens, I mean, you have the mentality that I'm not going to tell anybody that I'm hurt because I don't want to get one game taken away from me. I waited too long to get my chance. And he sat on some injuries last year.
Took a good hack there in an 0-2 count.
And when you have an injury to your hands, you know, you're swinging around the pain. It really alters every part of your swing. And he didn't really have a good swing going until about May last year, maybe even into June. And just about the time, you know, he'd get feeling pretty good, boom, another injury would set him back. So he had a number of things that he had to deal with last year.
Marcus Stroman for the Cubs. And Yaz and the Vanderbilt crew during the long off season and the time they couldn't work out at Scottsdale Stadium, they had their own little baseball bubble going, trying to sort of simulate some real high-level off-season workouts.
It's a pretty talented group.
There are a lot of good players in that group. 1-2, and a broken bat with the ball hitting up against the Giants dugout, and there's the barrel.
Good job.
Man.
Mumbledy peg.
Spring training for the equipment, too.
You know, one thing about Yastrzemski, I mean, as you gather your reputation in this game, you have to earn it. As you see the top of the bat stick into the ground, full Robin Hood style. But what Yastrzemski did last year when he had all that adversity. He never once complained. He never made one excuse. He just went out there and played ball. And I mean, that is old school. And you can imagine the education he got as his grandfather, Carl Yastrzemski, was a great example of toughness. Well, he's the same way. He proved it last year.
I mean, he still had a good all-around year, played excellent defense in right field. One story, I think, this spring training, as it stands right now, Mike is lined up to play a lot of center field this year. And that it may not be an everyday thing, but Giants are going to ask him to move around in the outfield a little bit more. 2-2.
Yeah, you know, he doesn't really seem that impressed with having to go out there. I mean, he believes that he can do the job. And look, if there's a guy out there, if he has a problem with range, I mean, there's ways that you can pinch the gap and make things easier for him, but you're not going to have to do that with him. I mean, he's a pretty solid player defensively, and that encompasses all of it. I mean, his range, his jump, his throwing ability, his instinct. I mean, he's a guy that believes in his talent, and he's proven it to us.
He's worked the count full here to start off the game for the Giants. On the ground to second. That's Vargas, who throws out Yastrzemski.
Let's take a look at the Cubs defensively, starting in their outfield from left to right. It'll be Frazier, Ortega, and Dykman. That's your outfield. Horner and Machado on the left side. Vargas and Schwindel on the right side. Yan Gomes, he'll be in the squad, putting down the sides. And his father-in-law, Lee Hamilton.
That's it. Yan Gomes, a Giants wing of his family. Here's Wilmer Flores, outstanding role player, although that's really underselling it for the Giants. Great to have him back.
Yeah, he's a good player. And, you know, he just gives you a good at bat.
That's that one down the right field line and foul. I mean, one last thought on Yastrzemski. We'll see Mike, I think, a little bit longer in this game. It's not that Steven Duggar doesn't have a chance to earn a lot of playing time. He does. But when the Giants signed Jock Peterson a couple days ago, I mean, there's a little cascade effect in that Giants outfield. I mean, Jock's natural position when he's out there in the field is right field. Still 0-2. So anyway, be something to watch this spring. Get Yastrzemski a few more reps out there in center.
There's one glorious X factor if you're an everyday player this year. The DH is in the National League.
Yeah.
So there are at-bats to be had that were never there.
I mean, figure Wilmer Flores is going to take some of those at-bats. Called strike 3. Now, before the game tonight, the two sinker ballers acknowledging one another. I think there was a moment, Mike, last year in the playoffs when Logan was on the mound. It was a little fraternity, the sinker ball fraternity.
That's a sinker baller secret handshake right there.
I wasn't there. Maybe during game 1 against the Dodgers when Marcus Stroman in the middle of the game went on social media and said, this guy is going to be one of the best in the game for a long time. He was pumping up Logan Webb. One pitch out for Jason Kruzan. No score. We go to the second. Download the MLB app to get in-game video highlights, live pitch by pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and more for your Giants and every team around Big League Baseball. You're all downloaded. You ready for the year?
Not quite.
You remember your passwords? Oh, look who's in the stands. Mike Yastrzemski's growing family. That's Paige and Mike's daughter, Quinley May. She's got the ear protection on. It's her first ball game.
She's a newbie.
Tonight's the night. You got to record that for posterity. I think we're going to get a chance to talk to Yaz as our telecast goes on. That'll be question number 1, I think.
Yeah, well, question number 2 is how come you have your daughter listening to Snoop Dogg during the ball game?
Maybe she's got the app flowing through. Right there from Logan Webb on the outside.
That's such a great 2-0 pitch. You know, the natural fastball movement that he'll have to a righty, it's going to start away and it's going to work its way back in. And he just took out the outside corner as if it was midseason for him. The big thing here is strikes. You want to command your pitches. Every pitch is a different release. It requires different muscles in your arm to throw. So to have them all working this early in the year at the same time doesn't usually happen.
Now just a little outside for ball 4. I think this was before the game. Yep. Now that's a pretty cool scene, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That's her first walk onto a big league field.
And I can tell you right now, looking at the old man, he does the midnight feeds, the 2 a.m. feeds, the 4 a.m. feeds.
Better.
Not a problem.
You'll have your patented question you ask every new parent about the diaper changing skills. Because you were an expert.
It was acquired. You know, I mean, there towards the end, I could have one hanging around my leg, holding one, and then changing one with one hand, and then being able to clean it all up with one wipe. That was magical.
You were a diaper changing all-star by number 5.
Yeah, 5 kids will do that to you.
Yan Gomes in an 0-2 hole. Logan Webb, this will be his last inning of work on the mound, and his and the Giants Cactus League opener.
But you know, all those diapers you did as a dad, which is required.
Yeah,
I mean, that's your deal, right?
You got to.
Once you hit grandpahood,
no diapers.
Those days are over.
I have to tell you, even as an uncle, I spent a lot of time with my little nephew this offseason. Didn't do a lot of diaper changing. Did a lot of holding.
Yeah, holding.
A lot of feeding. Could do that.
Good breaking ball for his 3rd strikeout.
Beautiful.
Yeah, lap work. You do lap work. Way into lap work.
Spoken like a true expert.
Now let's take a look at the breaking ball he uses for, I don't know, that may have been a changeup.
Maybe so.
So Yan Gomes victimized. You know, it's unfair. I mean, changeup's the hardest pitch to hit. And early in the spring, I was watching some games around the league today, and some of the swings I saw on changeups, and guys were throwing them 3-2, 3-1, which is what you have to do. And hitters at this point, they're a little overmatched if a guy can get the changeup over.
Practicing the pickoff throws. Ildemaro Vargas. We saw him last year, had some time with the Diamondbacks, had a good year in AAA. I think I saw they restored the names, didn't they, to the minor leagues? So we can call it can we call it the PCL again? Last year we had to call it AAA West, which doesn't have a beautiful ring to it. I think we can call it the PCL again.
Why would you slap history in the face? PCL is a very cool league. They did away with the American Association, did away with the International League. I mean, they just kind of like, what?
California League.
They disappeared.
Yeah.
So they're coming back?
I think the names are coming back.
Okay, I like that. That's good news.
I have to get confirmation on that. Runner going, and Joey Bart couldn't quite handle that pitch, so it's a steal.
You know what? And that's something he'll think about tonight. But Bart's probably going to catch 2 innings and take 1 at bat. I mean, they're going to handle him much like they would a starting pitcher. You ease into getting your legs in catching shape. But him on that exchange and not being able to come up with on the steal, he'll think about that. That haunts a catcher.
Giants have talked a lot about Joey's work this offseason. Last year, mostly in the minor leagues. I mean, it's a huge question mark. As talented as he is, as big a prospect as he is, he's got giant cleats to fill, not just as a hitter, as a leader behind the plate, as a leader of the pitching staff, and it's a big challenge for him.
Well, Craig Albertez was talking about him. He says, well, you know, one thing I look at with the young catchers is how much work they want to do in spring training, how many bullpens they want to catch. Are they looking for solid activity? He says, Joey Bart's catching everybody. He wants to learn everybody. He wants them to have confidence in him. And if you watch him, now he'll use the knee down approach. But with him now, he'll go down on his left knee for sometimes. With a runner, with a right-handed hitter up there, he'll go down with his right knee. Now they'll talk about it. But the fact that he came into professional baseball and he had the conventional, traditional approach. He would set up and he wouldn't be on any knee. He'd just be down in a catcher squat. And when they introduced, we want you to go with the one knee so you can drop your glove and then snatch the low pitch and bring that momentum of the hand with the pitch back into the strike zone and get low strikes. Balls you would normally get. That's the whole theory behind it. And he was really uncomfortable with it. 2020, when he got to the big leagues, he was a fish out of water with it. But now he's completely come. There you see down on his right knee.
That one went behind the hitter.
Heesh. So you want to be a big league hitter, huh? Yeah, this is what separates the professionals from the amateurs.
Pretty good job by Joey Bart getting to that one. Got him.
That's 4 swing and miss strike threes. That's great stuff, and he's doing it on his first outing. And this tells me he's done his homework in the offseason. Changeup again, completely overmatching Vargas.
He's got a good feel for that pitch.
He does. I mean, he did the same thing last year. That's really what kind of got us all excited about him last year. There's one outing where he had Buster, I think, was catching, and Buster Posey was catching him. And I think he called like 8 in a row, and not one of them was touched. And we thought, that's a magic pitch. Well, he had so much more than that.
2 down. Close pitch, but called a ball to Greg Deichmann. And it all culminated, of course, for Logan Webb in the playoffs. I mean, truly just awesome performance in Game 1 and Game 5 against the Dodgers. What did he throw? 14 2/3 innings, gave up 1 run.
Gave 162.
Exactly. Even before that series.
Yeah, that's the magic pitch right there. But along the way, I mean, he learned how to throw 2 different types of fastballs. He learned that, you know, the slider and the cutter are 2 different pitches. And, you know, he just learned so much. And he was not surprised by any of the success that he had.
Right there. It's 1-2.
As impressive as his changeup was early in spring last year, that wasn't his best strikeout pitch in September or October. It was the slider.
Yeah. I mean, there were times it was just flat unhittable.
Walk, stole second.
Was that the voice of Boog Shambi we just heard?
I think it was. John Shambi, who is the play-by-play television broadcaster for the Cubs. He and his partner, the color analyst, Jim Deshaies, they're a great combo.
That one right there, strike 3 call. So how about that for a Cactus League debut for Logan Webb? He faces 7 hitters. He strikes out 5 of them. No score, middle of the second.
The old man, Dwayne Kuiper. Subscribe right now wherever you get your podcasts.
Kuip's spending his time getting ready for opening day himself.
At home, healing, and he's talking today about, may want to swing down at spring training. You know, it's been a couple days in Arizona.
Say hi to some folks.
Yeah. And he goes, I just want to be in the field.
A little sunshine, smell the grass. Joey Bart, probably his only at bat tonight in his 2022 debut. Had a solid year last year, mostly with Sacramento. Has made a lot of changes to his approach, has put in a lot of hard work. Very different hitter than Buster Posey. He has a lot of power, though, and he hits that one out to right center field. It's going to be caught by Ortega for out number 1.
It looked like he caught it out on the end of the bat a little bit. But the one thing you'll see him do a lot is go to right center. I mean, he's got a nice opposite field approach.
He's going to hit a bunch of home runs that way in his big league career.
He's a big fella, 6'2", 250.
So Bart retired, and Jason Vossler, we saw a lot of Jason last season. Gets his first at bat tonight, starting at third base.
Oh, he had a great spring last year. Really put himself on the map.
And he's behind in the count 0-2 against Marcus Stroman. I believe we got the headset on. The Giants starting pitcher Logan Webb, Dave Fleming, Mike Krukow. Logan, great to see you.
Great to see you guys. Good to see you guys.
Hey, we caught you before the game giving Marcus Stroman the secret sinker baller handshake. I want you to know that we saw that.
Yep.
He had some nice things to say about you this offseason, didn't he?
Yeah, he's a good dude. I mean, you gotta stick with the sinker ballers, you know.
It's a fraternity, very tight knit. Well, how'd you feel out there?
Exactly.
Made your debut. How'd it feel?
Felt good. A little. Got to get the jitters out of the way, but it's good to get the first one out of here.
It's amazing playing in front of people again, isn't it?
Oh, that's the best. It's best.
So we were especially impressed tonight with the changeup. You had a good feel of it.
Yeah. It's something that I was throwing a lot in the off season, and same thing as kind of last year, working on it and getting it ready for the season. And I'm feeling good throwing that. I was feeling good throwing the sinker too, but it was a little off in the second inning.
Well, let's talk about how you stayed in shape. I mean, there was kind of a limbo land. You were all existing in there, not knowing if there was going to be a deal. How did you push yourself to stay focused? Because right now, you look like you could go 4 innings.
I feel like I can go 4 innings, but no, I was working out at Push Performance here in Tempe, and there's a bunch of guys there that we're all kind of staying in shape and throwing live BPs and kind of just waiting for the green light, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun this offseason working with all those guys and being around all those guys. Everyone kind of pushes each other, which is awesome.
Have you allowed yourself, Logan? It was 3 weeks from today, opening day, and you're going to be on the mound. Have you allowed yourself to sort of think ahead to that?
Oh, I don't know about that. I haven't heard anything about
okay.
that.
I'm assuming you're going to be on the mound for opening day. I think a lot of Giants fans are assuming that. If that happens, would that be a big deal to you?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That would be awesome. But the main goal is a bigger one, you know.
Yeah, well, you got some big goals in front of you. It was great to see you back on the mound. We appreciate hearing from you, and we can't wait to watch you the rest of the spring and get the season going. Thanks, Logan.
Yeah, it's great to see you guys. Bye.
Logan Webb from Scottsdale Stadium.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Stadium. This is a big deal. We hope you celebrate with us the start of the 2022 season with a $5 flash sale. You're reading that right, for all April and May games other than opening day, presented by Visa. It's a limited time offer. You can save up to 80% on tickets now. You have until Monday night to do it. Also, special club and lower level pricing available, subject to availability. The A's are going to be in town. The Padres, the Cardinals, the Mets, all kinds of great games. Literally for $5. Get your tickets right now at sfgiants.com/Visa, and you can watch that moon rise over McCovey Cove.
That's full moon right there.
Can't wait to see that. That's pretty good from Scottsdale Stadium, isn't it?
We need our partner, John Miller. He would be able to give us everything you need to know about that moon right there.
He'd have the little lunar fold-up schedule that he keeps in the booth.
Yep.
Yeah, he'd have it. Game 1 of spring training. He's ready for it. New pitcher for the Giants. Great to chat with Logan Webb and see him looking good. Brian Brickhouse, who last year was in Double-A. Giants are excited about his arm talent, making his Giants debut tonight. On the ground and picked nicely by Vossler before it hit the dirt for out number 1.
Well, it's great when you're starting to get an idea of the talent. One of the questions that gets asked often is, tell us about the young talent. I'm talking about when you talk to coaches or the manager or scouts, and they all come up saying the same thing. Where do you see this guy Brickhouse? This guy's going to be good. So it's our first chance to see him.
He's had a long journey. He's been around a little while and spent some time even at the lowest levels of professional baseball. Last year, though, as that one hit right inside the bag at first, a fair ball. And the first hit of the ball game comes from the 9th place hitter Dixon Machado. It's a 1-out single.
Well, the thing about Brickhouse is he'll put the ball on the ground. He's built like a middle infielder, 6 feet tall, 195 pounds. He'll turn 30 in June. But having the ability to throw strikes and put the ball on the ground is a big plus if you want to make a Giants pitching staff.
So here's Nico Hoerner, his second at bat of the game, struck out against Logan Webb. Giants and Cubs, Cactus League baseball, first one for the Giants. I mean, you can imagine that for Brian Brickhouse, a new catcher, also Johnny Pereda. So Joey Bart, as we expected, just a couple innings behind the plate. And Pereda takes over. You can imagine the adrenaline's pumping a little bit for Brian Brickhouse. He wants to make a good impression. This is his organizational debut. It's a new team for him.
Well, the other thing, too, you heard Logan Webb mention how fun it is to get back out there. Well, it's fun to pitch again in front of people. You're not pitching in front of anybody when you're throwing in the off season. You know, you maybe some high school baseball players and a few people in the stands, but not like spring training. You say, well, there's only going to be a couple thousand people there tonight. It's not like when you get back to San Francisco, you're pitching in front of 40. Well, yeah, it is. I don't care if there's 50 people in the stands. It's people in the stands, and it's different. You don't get sore in the offseason. The first time you pitch in front of fans, the next day you wake up, you're sore.
Pickoff move.
Of course, it helps that the guy you're pitching to has a different uniform on, too. That'll amp you up.
Yep.
But you have to get used to pitching in front of people again. And the first couple times in spring training, that's what it's for. And everybody's going through it.
That one gets by the new Giants catcher, Pereda. Well, we're going to see a big group of non-roster invitees, guys the Giants have brought into camp. And over the last few years, Mike, some of those players have taken big-time advantage of the chances they've had to pitch in the Cactus League and ended up being a part of the Giants in the big leagues in the regular season. I mean, the Giants give these guys opportunity. Another wild pitch. So that's 2 in a row.
The one thing you give up when you go down on a knee as a catcher is lateral movement. And Johnny Pereda down on the right leg, reaching across, backhanding that ball like he's playing shortstop. I mean, this is how it's taught now. The emphasis is how to get your hand in a position to frame the low pitch, and they will sacrifice lateral movement and blocking ability, even with the man on third base.
And they really believe over the long haul, that's ball 4, that it's worth it to do that. But in the moment, I mean, it can be a little frustrating. So a couple wild pitches, now a walk, 2 on with 1 out.
It's amazing when a philosophy changes to a position. And it's really happened in the catching position, and it's happened here in the last 5 years. It's pretty much across the league now where you see the one knee down setup for catchers. But in talking with Craig Alvarez, who teaches the one leg down, is the Giants catching coach, I asked him, I said, how much pop time do you give up with one knee down opposed to a conventional 2-foot setup? Meaning the pop time from when a catcher catches the ball to when he releases it and throws it down to second base on an attempt to steal. He says you don't give up anything. He says we've had guys last year. He says we had Posey, we had really 2 or 3 catchers that came up. They were all having pop times under 1.9 seconds, which is extremely fast. 2 seconds, that's acceptable. You get around 1.8, and now all of a sudden everybody around camp starts talking about it. But the point being is that they're doing it with one knee down, as opposed to the conventional 2-foot setup, where no knee was touching the ground.
Oh, 0-1 here to Rafael Ortega. Cubs threatening. It's the top of the 3rd. Logan Webb, extremely successful Cactus League debut for him. That was a nasty pitch in the dirt. He got the swing and miss anyway.
Pereira's he's having some problems here.
Yeah, he got help there.
I don't know if he's seeing the ball once it gets down below his glove. Because every time he gets that glove over there, and that one right there was not that wide. It wasn't outside of his shin guard wide. So you should be able to get a lot of your glove on that and keep that ball in front of you. And again, look, the lights here at Scottsdale are not great. But he's having a problem picking it up.
That one slashed into left field, base hit, and the Cubs are going to get the first run of the ball game. Machado scores, Ortega knocks him in. That's 1-0 Cubs here in the third.
Great approach going the other way. I mean, if you're a big league hitter and you're coming into your first game of spring training and your first base hit is a line drive the opposite way, you're thinking, yeehaw daddy, I am dialed.
Here's Schwindel. 2 on, still only 1 out against this new Giants pitcher making his debut in the Giants organization. Got the big swing and miss on the breaking ball.
Good hard slider there. That's a slider that gets swing and misses, and even if you leave it out of the plate, the downward bite is going to get you ground balls. But this is definitely a stress situation for Brickhouse.
Another slider. Did he go? No. Alex McKay, the young umpire among this veteran crew at first base.
Number 105.
That's his uniform number. Two.
Well, that's where Brickhouse wants to be. If he misses, he wants to miss below the strike zone. His movement is low in the strike zone or below it. So in this sequence, he's had a swing through slider, and here he gets a swing through sinker. Now the all-important kill pitch. Can you put him away? Especially the runner in scoring position.
In the dirt. That time Pareda was able to block it.
When you're trying to impress and you're a non-roster invitee coming into camp, I mean, these are situations where you can. I mean, you're in trouble. Sinning's gone against you. How are you going to minimize the damage? How are you going to pitch out of it? Everything he's missing now is down below the knees. He's pitching for that ground ball to try and get out of this inning by way of the double play.
2-2. He got that one down, but not down enough. And Schwindel into center field. Another Cubs hit. Warner around third, and he scores. Schwindel into second. It's a double, and it's 2-0 Cubs.
And for Schwindel, a nice 2-strike at bat.
Very nice.
Take a look at the location down around the knees. It's one of those things where a pitching coach will say, well, you know, another option could have been, you know, you were ahead in the count, you had leverage, you'd gone down around the knees the whole AB, you could have heated one up above the letters. Something to think about.
Clint Frazier, name that baseball fans probably recognize. His years as big prospect with the Yankees, and there was a lot of hope in New York that he was going to be sort of right there alongside Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton as one of the next great Yankee power hitters. Now he's got an opportunity with the Cubs. He looks, I mean, he's still a big, strong guy, but he looks a little trimmer.
Well, and you don't recognize him with a beard.
Yeah. Aren't allowed to have that with the Yankees.
No facial hair in New York, at least on the Bronx side of the city.
So Josh Donaldson Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, a couple new acquisitions. Both guys used to having those beards. Got the razors out this week. This guy's got a ton of power. The Cubs, as great a year as the Giants had last year, Cubs did not win a lot of ball games. They finished 4th in that National League Central. Would they win 71 games?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a difficult year. They had high expectations when they left camp, and then the injuries kind of set them back, and they never really were able to overcome it. And then all of a sudden, boom, here goes the fire sale.
So I think they have some hopes of getting back into contention this year, not just tearing down. That one right there at the knees, 1 and 2. But they also probably have some at-bats for young players, guys who aren't yet established, like Clint Frazier. He's got an opportunity. Just announced a signing today, I guess officially, Seiya Suzuki, big star from Japan, big contract.
Well, I mean, if he realizes all of the additional years that he could reach, it could be over $100 million deal. That's a big contract for someone coming out of Japan.
Slider misses high.
I'm very curious. I'm
Me
just kind
too.
of hoping to see him play tonight.
Yeah, I guess that's a little quick, but he is, by all accounts, got a lot of tools, a lot of talent. Two. It really is remarkable, all those years. I mean, even though they were young players, Anthony Rizzo, Javi Baez, Chris Bryant, they're all gone.
All gone. But I'll tell you what, though, they will never be forgotten
Never.
for what they gave that city.
3-2, and that one misses inside, so he couldn't put Clint Frazier away. Frazier's walked a couple times in this game. The bases are loaded. Gabe Kapler's coming out.
Well, there's a rule in spring training where you can have a guy come out of a game like this where it's going against a lot of extra throws, and he could come back in to start next inning. That's the rule. I don't know if he will.
I'm glad baseball kept that around. That was kind of like a pandemic COVID season rule, and it's a good rule to keep in these exhibition ball games. So a new pitcher coming in. We'll tell you about him right after this. Have scored a couple runs here in the top of the 3rd inning at Scottsdale Stadium, the Cactus League opener 2022. Giants and the Cubs with the lights on a Friday night. And Brian Brickhouse has been knocked out of the game, at least for now. Our first look, a guy drafted by the Giants back in 2019, spent part of last year in high A ball. It's a right-hander, Nick Avila.
Born in Modesto, went to school at San Joaquin Delta College in Stockton. Then he went on to Cal State Long Beach. Giants picked him in the 26th round in 2019. Our first chance to take a look at him. Going to try and pitch out of a bases loaded 1-out jam.
A lot of strikeouts. I have to say, I have not met Nick, so could be Nick Avila, could be Nick Avila. We're going to meet him and we're going to find out. But tonight, we're just kind of taking a stab. So we think Nick Avila facing Yan Gomes with the bases loaded and 1 out. Chance to make an impression. His first big league spring training game.
If you're a young kid trying to make an impression, you pray for this type of situation.
He throws strike 1.
As you mentioned, he's a strikeout guy. He had a strikeout in inning last year. And that's probably what he's going to pitch for. Although he would take a ground ball that gets 2 outs.
Two runs in for the Cubs here with 1 out. A little tight breaking ball there. It's 0-2.
2 pitches, 1 fastball away, 1 breaking ball away, right on the paint. And he's all over him, 0-2. Now we're going to get a chance to see his kill pitch right here. What does he want to try and put him away with?
Facing a guy who's had a lot of experience at the big league level. Yan Gomes. Oh-2. He went with the breaking ball. That one looked to have a little more break to it.
That's a curveball. So he put it in a good place. I don't know if Yan Gomes has ever faced Avila, but the advantage that Avila had is gone, because once a guy sees your breaking ball, he knows it.
1-2. Tried the fastball, missed outside. It's 2-2.
Yeah, he missed away, but they set up inside. So the thing you look at is location. He's obviously pumped up. First outing in spring. Fastball command, being able to consistently hit both sides of the plate, usually doesn't show up till about the third week of spring. Fastball is one pitch that comes late.
2-2 on the ground to short. Dubon will get the out at second. They make the throw, but not in time, even with the catcher running. So Ortega comes in to score. It's 3-0. He got the ground ball, just not hit hard enough for the Giants to turn a double play. First and third with 2 down. Well, I don't know if it really applies to a guy who, Nick's got a future in the game, but his future is probably not going to be early 2022 at the big league level. He's only pitched in A-ball. But you've talked for years about how these are the kind of spots where a manager, a pitching coach, you put a guy in, even an exhibition game, bases loaded, some good hitters coming up. You learn something about that guy.
You know, the other thing, too, that sells in the dugout is hitters talking openly about it. I mean, it happened with Reyes Maranta a few years ago. There was an exhibition game between the Giants, and they went to Sacramento and played the River Cats, an exhibition game. And Reyes Maranta, who nobody had ever even heard of, came out there and he just put on a big league shove to the big league hitters. And that did not go unnoticed. Hitters were talking about that when they're getting back on the bus. Who is this guy? So reputation comes quickly in this game. And when you get hitters talking about it, the manager's going to start talking about it. The coaches are going to start talking about it.
Well, he's jumped ahead of Vargas 0-2. By the way, Mike Passanisi, one of the Giants PR folks, he's down in the dugout. Hunter Bishop played with this guy. So Mike went over. I texted Mike. Mike went over to Hunter Bishop. Hunter says Avila.
Avila.
Nick Avila.
See, I was in San Luis Obispo. We used to go to Avila Beach. So, I mean,
there's lots of different ways you could do it.
You say tomato, I say tomato.
Nick Avila, 0-2. Kind of a half swing chopper to third. And it's going to stay fair. Well, that's a bad break for Nick and the Giants. It's 4-0. Like an emergency swing. Didn't mean to. Put it in play and get an RBI.
Yeah, that's good stuff. All you can do is throw a good pitch. Every once in a while, you're going to get burned. Just kind of a defensive stay alive hack. And I just don't think there was any other way that could be played, because Foster didn't have a chance. Vargas runs well.
Yeah, no chance. So 2 on 2 out.
I do like the fact that Mauricio Dubon was over there backing up that play, because it could have been bad.
You're right. It's a good little fundamental play in the first spring game. That one a hot shot, and Vossler picks it clean, and he throws out Dykeman, the Cubs right fielder, for out number 3. Cubs on the board. Jumped in front in this Cactus League game from Scottsdale Stadium. Bottom of the third. It is 4-0, and the Cubs have a new pitcher, Marcus Stroman, just like Logan Webb, goes a couple innings, and Mark Leiter Jr. comes in the game. Been around a while.
Solid season last year. 110 strikeouts in 89 innings and against 23 walks. Leiter, 31 years of age. He's got a little over a year's time in the big leagues. This old man, a former Giant and teammate. It's a hard thrower.
Well, it's been a while since Mark Jr. has been in the big leagues. 2018, the last season he pitched at the major league level. Trying to make it back. Jalen Davis, his first at bat of the spring, playing center field tonight for the Giants. Also a new catcher for the Cubs, P.J. Higgins, behind the plate. Wilson Contreras, one of those names who was around in the Cubs' glory days, winning the World Series in 2016. He's still on this Cubs team. But we're not going to see him tonight. 1-1 to Jalen Davis.
Davis, 27 years old, just about a year's time at the big league level. Lots of power.
Yep. Got to find a way to tap into it a little more often. Okay, it's big power. The 1-2 to Davis in the dirt. It's 2-2. And he's a power guy who can play center field. I mean, it's a great combo. Whether he would play a lot of center field innings for the Giants if he were to have some big league time this year is a different question, but he can do it.
Well, he had 230 last year in Sacramento with 11 home runs. He had some injuries that really hurt him.
Yeah, that's been another thing for him. He's had a hard time staying healthy.
You know, I mean, I think when you're swinging around pain in your legs or your hands as a power hitter, it's a whole lot different than if you're a contact guy. I mean, you really do have to be feeling pretty good to maximize your strength as a power hitter.
Yeah, right there. Strike 3 called. Giants still looking for their first base runner tonight.
Yeah, Cubs pitching. I mean, struck out 4 of the first 7 guys that they faced. 2 ground balls and a fly out. The only ball put in the air was off the bat of Joey Barton. That was off the end of the bat. So they really haven't barreled much against Chicago here in the first 2 1/3.
Ka'ai Tom, saw him both with the A's and the Pirates last year. He's in Giants camp here in 2022.
Not a tall guy, but powerful. And he's got power.
Oh, and crossed up Higgins, it looked like.
Yeah, it's bad when you're getting crossed up and there's guys only putting 1 sign down.
I mean, there's nobody on base, 1 sign.
But you explain it one way. Lights aren't great. You can't see. If you watch when Higgins gets down in the squad, he puts his hand down to give a sign. It's dark.
It's in the shadows. It is. He may be talking to Mark Carlson, the home plate umpire, about that very thing. 1-2. Well, Ka'ai Tom also has a reputation being a guy who can handle himself defensively, although he's the DH tonight. We've talked over the years a lot about the possibility of the DH coming to the National League. Tom down the left field line. Clint Frazier with the hat flying off makes a sliding catch in foul ground. Out number 2. Nice play.
Stylish. I think anytime an outfielder can slide into a catch, it's very cool. Here, sliding into a backhander. Yeah, that's fun.
Well, look, I know there are a lot of Giants fans who are going to miss National League baseball, and you and I are going to miss National League baseball. But you spent a lot of time talking these last few years about how offense from the pitcher's spot just kind of went off the cliff.
Yeah, they wore me out.
It wore me out too. I mean, I kind of stopped defending. We can't stand for this. I mean, it just, pitcher's offense bottomed out.
And their inability to bunt.
They couldn't get a bunt down. I mean, the Giants pitchers last year were at times just hopeless at the plate.
Worst in the history of baseball.
So the DH for this particular Giants team,
bring it on,
is going to be a big deal.
And I never thought I'd say that.
That's Mike Krukow saying, "Bring on the DH."
I would fight you against it my whole life, but
your whole life in the National League.
The last 4 years have beat me into submission. It's like I give.
And you were a good hitting pitcher. You were a guy who helped yourself with the bat.
But that's how you stayed in the game. When I played in Philadelphia, Steve Carlton was a teammate. He said, "You get your decisions in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. You have to be there as a pitcher to get your decision. That's where the wins are. And if you can bunt, if you can hit, you stay in the game. You have a chance to stay in those 7th, 8th, and 9th innings." Now, this generation is different. You don't see the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning very often as a starting pitcher, but still, you could help yourself learning how to bunt, learning how to put the ball in play, and it just hasn't been emphasized.
Dubon kind of got tied up there. And a little pop up to short for out number 3. Giants 3 innings, still looking to get their first base runner. We go to the 4th. It's 4-0 Cubs.
The camera on your phone.
New plan offers 22 thrilling games. Guarantee your tickets to opening day, Will Clark's number retirement, and Buster Posey Day. Plans offer significant savings compared to buying individual games, and plans also include limited postseason rights. Get your Thrill 22 plan at sfgiants.com/thrill. Giants baseball, game up.
Those are some good dates to be there at Oracle Park. The Thrill 22 plan. We get the $5 flash sale going until Monday night. Hey, by the way, Brian Brickhouse comes back in. You mentioned how this Cactus League rule is in play again in 2022. You can come out of the game and come back in.
Ooh.
Huh.
We need a little more pine tar.
Brian.
All right, here we go. Ready? Whoop. It is a weird feeling when you're in the batter's box and that happens, because you want to ask that catcher, is he serious here? Is that where are we at on that?
Nelson Velasquez, who lined out his first time up.
So Buster Posey Day, do you think there could be a few Buster hugs being thrown out that day?
I think there'll be a lot of hugs that day.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to both those days. Buster Posey Day and when Will Clark's number gets retired.
2-1. I have to say I was a little disappointed in our friend Buster, because when Tom Brady announced he was coming back, I immediately picked up my phone and fired off a text like, "Yo, Buster, Tom reconsidered. He's coming back. What do you think?" No. He had just finished coaching Little League. He said, "I'm having the time of my life." Good for him. 2-2.
Yeah, he was a good Giant.
Yeah,
he was a good Giant.
Best.
And I mean, you can't miss all those years in Little League, if you can help it.
Yeah, this is the prime time. Goes out off one of his very best years. He had a lot of great years, but he was just so great last year. Helped the Giants immensely to that year that we're never going to forget. Just an incredible way to go out.
Yeah, I mean, he got his body back, and he gave us all one great year to say goodbye with.
Got him. High fastball. All right, we're talking about Will Clark. We got opening day coming up. Why don't we remember, we take a look at this every year. Why wouldn't we?
Well, only because it just never happened. I mean, you see balls get hit out of ballparks all over the place now, but back then, the Astrodome in Houston, it was a horrible place to hit home runs, especially center field, especially against Nolan Ryan. And Will Clark's first swing as a big leaguer, he does that.
I mean, really, you could argue there's never been an entrance to a big league career like that.
None that I ever saw. I mean, first swing, Nolan Ryan, center field, Houston. I mean, all the intangibles there that just, it shocked us in the dugout. It made everybody quiet. And we were really wondering who the heck this guy was after that swing. because he had a nice spring. I mean, he made the team. He earned the right to be there. I mean, the previous year he was in Fresno in the Cal League and A-ball. That's pretty much it. Next year, big leagues, go get him. I loved that swing. I mean, I could really, Giants fans, they had a chance to watch Will Clark and they got a chance to watch Buster Posey. I could argue that those are two of the greatest swings in baseball history.
History.
Great swings.
You cannot tell me there's a prettier swing than Will Clark's.
No, there is not.
Well, he got him with a little breaking ball. Maybe not exactly the way Brian Brickhouse wanted to throw it.
Well, Mark Carlson, he's a high ball guy. He'll give you high pitches, especially on breaking balls. But, I mean, Brickhouse has been out of whack here. Yeah, a little geeked up. He's had a good spring. He knows. I mean, when guys are talking about you, when coaches are talking about you, you're hearing it, especially when you're trying to make a team. So I have to believe he's a little overamped about this one tonight.
I'm sure Cubs fans have spent the last inning Googling Brian Brickhouse to try to, could he possibly be related to Jack Brickhouse?
Hey!
We don't think so.
No. No, Jack was our television broadcaster when I was in Chicago. What a great guy.
All-time character.
Great storyteller.
Pull that one foul. Brian Brickhouse, the second. Then the Giants had a third. Now back to their second pitcher of the night. So they've used 3 pitchers total. Logan Webb just looked great. If you missed the start of the game, the heck of a way for the Giants to start spring training.
0-2 pitch, a chance to really throw your location, and it's just an overthrow. So I like the fact they went back and put him back out there. But he didn't have a good first inning. They took him out of the inning, and then they went and put him back out there. It gives you an idea that they do like this guy.
On the ground to short. Dubon's got it. He throws a little low. Flores couldn't pick it out.
Well, another opportunity here for Brickhouse to pitch through an air. Those type of things stand out in spring training. Let's take a look at Dubon going to his right, setting up. Lots of balance. Nice little crow hop. And really one that Flores should have had.
Yeah. Probably not going to see. I think Brandon Belt's in that category. You and I at the start of the night were talking about how 17 exhibition games, not a lot. And it may not be a lot of innings played for some of those veteran Giants position players. And Brandon Belt might be in that category.
Well, he did it last year. And
he did?
Came out and raked. I mean, Ruff was the same way. They did play a lot early, and then they got activated in season, and then boom, they both got hot.
Evan Longoria, I think, is in that category. Just not much exhibition time at all. Had a great start to the year. That one spiked in the dirt.
I mean, those are big misses location-wise. And those are things that pitching coach will absolutely point out when Brickhouse comes off this outing. He's just trying to get through it now. Even the strikeouts that he haven't really been great pitches. He's had 2 swing and misses at hanging sliders. Those aren't pitches with a breaking ball. Those locations that you want to rely upon to have guys miss.
If you notice tonight, it's J.P. Martinez who is the Giants pitching coach in this game. He's the assistant pitching coach by title. Andrew Bailey went back home. He's got a little family thing just for a couple days. Hopefully we'll see Andrew back in camp soon and everything's all right back at home. But for tonight, J.P. Martinez is the lead pitching coach. He was a great ad last year. Really fit in well. It's interesting, the Giants from their first staff. First coach to leave Gabe Kapler's core group was Ethan Katz, who went to be the head pitching coach with the White Sox and helped Carlos Rodon have a total breakout year. Exploded, made the All-Star team. And when the Giants signed Carlos Rodon, I mean, Ethan Katz had a lot of great things to say about what a good fit he thought it was for Carlos coming to the Giants.
Now, what the Giants coaching staff accomplished last year was remarkable. Gabe Kapler managed his coaches. His coaches were allowed to work. His coaches didn't have to feel encumbered by rank. They had an opinion about a guy, regardless of if you were the head pitching coach or head hitting instructor. If you had something to say about a guy, it was received equally. And the results were just remarkable as to what the Giants got out of their year. They every month they had last year, they played .600 ball. Obviously, you have to do that to win 107 games, but to a man, everybody on that staff, on that team, applauded the coaching staff at the end of the season loudly.
Full count here, 3-2, and that one's not real close. So after the error, now a walk. Brickhouse between the two innings has thrown 42 pitches tonight.
Yes. Gabe coming out to get him. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a guy get taken out of a game twice.
Not yet, at least, although maybe now. Yeah, here he comes. He's got some special spring training shoes on tonight.
Oh, Kapler's got some shoes now.
Yeah. I think he leads big league managers in that category.
Yeah, his shoe game is rocking.
Is he going to make that? I think he's making a change.
Well, that's a lot of pitches. Oh, yeah. I want to get that. I want to get that. I want to get that.
Really? You can pull that off?
With a tuxedo.
I can't wait to see that. I'm calling Gabe tomorrow. We're going to get you a pair of those. Pitching change here in the fourth. 4-0 Cubs. Has been taken out of the game for the second time tonight. Yeah, it's a Cactus League game. You can do that. And so the Giants going to their fourth pitcher of the game. It's a young right-hander. I don't believe we've ever seen Patrick Ruotolo in a Cactus League game before. I could be mistaken. Last year in Double-A, put up some real nice numbers. Well, that's 37 innings pitched, 50 strikeouts, 5 walks.
Yeah, the 10-to-1 strikeout walk ratio is what jumps out at you. So there's another guy that I'm looking forward to seeing throw. He's 27 years old, former 27th round pick by the Giants in 2016. Out of the University of Connecticut.
And he sort of very deliberately climbed the ladder in the Giants system. You know, isn't it amazing how every young player has been so impacted by these last couple years of the COVID year where so many seasons were just wiped out entirely. And then trying to recover from that last year. I mean, a lot of players just never got into their normal rhythm. A year of development loss, in some cases 2.
I mean, and I've had people stop me in the stores and say, well, you can make a big deal about this. What's the big deal of missing a year? Big deal. It's a big deal. It's a big deal adding strength to a pitcher's arm. It's a big deal adding development from a hitter's perspective. How to learn how to hit different types of pitches. How to learn how to have an approach against a guy who's got certain type of movement. And these are things that you learn only by taking reps. Throwing innings, taking at bats. You take a whole year away from a guy who really, really stunts his growth.
Two 2-0. He got him to chase. Schwindel went up for that fastball.
Recall those numbers overall in the minor leagues: 14-6 with a 2.24 ERA, and that's 172 innings in which he had 247 strikeouts. You mentioned the 10-to-1 strikeout ratio he had last year. In his whole minor league career, he had a 5-to-1 strikeout walk ratio.
Getting pretty close to hitting his spot there. Didn't get the call. 3-1.
Tolo built like a catcher. 5'10". 245 pounds.
Down the right field line. Now he's built totally differently. But you can see, I mean, he's told people in the past that he modeled his mechanics after Tim Lincecum as a very young pitcher. I mean, nobody's like Tim.
Well, that's a fact. But it's amazing how, you know, if he's trying to beat Tim Lincecum in the backyard, and the point you make is great because he does have some things that are similar.
Full count, 3-2. And that pop-up's going to make it into the stand. A lot of people at Scottsdale Stadium tonight.
Yeah, nice crowd.
I was kind of a scramble to get. I mean, nobody knew up until very recently when the Cactus League was going to start. This game wasn't on the schedule. I mean, everything got reworked.
Well, two of the more resilient fan bases on the planet.
That is a fact.
Giants fans and Cub fans.
That is a fact.
They will figure it out.
That's a lot of folks, though.
Friday night crowd, Scottsdale, beautiful night. Baseball, come on.
Patrick Ruotolo. Another high fastball. You can see how he's trying to get Frank Schwindel.
Well, he's not throwing anything but country hardballs at him right now. There's not a lot of finesse in his game.
I'm going down tomorrow morning. I'll be on an airplane early tomorrow. It's supposed to be 85 degrees in Scottsdale tomorrow.
Now who's playing tomorrow?
Giants are going up to Talking Stick to take on the Rockies.
Think Chris Bryant will be
Maybe
in that?
Chris Bryant. Ball 4. I'm coming and hoping we'll get to see Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant, who obviously, you know, all that success with this Cubs team and then last year helped the Giants finish the year so strong, was one of the Giants' very best players in the division series against the Dodgers. I'll miss Chris Bryant.
Yeah, he was a good ad. You know, get a chance to know him a little bit, know his games. Giants fans appreciated him.
That one is hit to left center field. Not that deep, though, and it's going to fall. So a little bloop off the end of the bat of Clint Frazier is going to score a couple runs. 2 outs, nobody on, an error, back-to-back walks, now a bloop, and it's 6-0.
Well, and again, you talk about the lights in Scottsdale Stadium. They're not great, and it affects you on your first step. If you don't see that ball well off the crack of the bat, and a guy like Frazier, you're expecting a little more depth on fly balls that come off his bat. I mean, it's natural when you have guys up there with power that he has. So in essence, he just hit a changeup out there. Just nobody was even close to it. And the lights had everything to do about it.
You got me a little bit. He takes that big hack. So it's 6-0 Cubs in the 4th. The catcher Higgins down the right field side. Yastrzemski's still out there. Couldn't quite get there. It's interesting, Logan Webb, we've been talking a lot about. I mean, look, it's just a fact of life. These ballparks are used for just a handful of night games each exhibition season. So you don't have the light systems that a true big league ballpark has. But Logan Webb even apparently, you know, pitcher comes out of a game in the Cactus League, goes right to the clubhouse. The writers go down and talk to him right then and there in the middle of the game. Said first pitch of the night, he couldn't see the sign from Joey Bart. He just threw a sinker. I think that's what it is.
Well, I mean, think about it too. Everybody's first game, you know, and you have to get acclimated with somebody throwing 95 plus at you with a changeup. You're kind of disadvantaged anyway. And then when you don't have the lights that you're accustomed to having for a regular big league game, the odds are stacked up against you.
Patrick Rotolo steps off. So he went to the University of Connecticut. He was born and grew up in Massachusetts. But he's a true New Englander. He steps off and he didn't throw to first. Huh.
That was almost like the Cubs were going, okay, I'm just going to give you an out to get out of the inning.
Would you like it? No.
Well, it's certainly something you don't expect to have happen to you when you're out there. Got a great jump.
That was unusual. That one hit a little bit better to center field. Jalen Davis has this one lined up, though, and that is out number 3. So the Giants are down, but we'll get our second look at the plate of Mike Yastrzemski when we come back for the bottom of the 4th. Mike Yastrzemski is going to come up for the second time. Now, look, the Giants had a lot of memorable moments last year, a lot of them. One of the most memorable for me was this swing. June 15th, bases loaded, late in the game, into the water, a come-from-behind victory against the Diamondbacks. Amazing.
And that was amazing. They were down, I think, like 7-1.
7-0 maybe in like the second inning.
It was just over early.
Over. And it was one of those series, you know, already we knew it was going to be a heck of a race. Giants, Dodgers. And the Diamondbacks were really struggling and lost all those games in a row, on the road in a row. And the Giants were feeling pressure to make that a great series. And here it was 7-0 like before the game started. And they came all the way back on that swing and won.
So many special moments. So many special moments with pinch hit home runs.
Oh, my gosh. Well, the most in the history of the game by the Giants last year. 18 of them.
Yeah, I kind of got used to that.
Me too. There was a baseball function recently I was doing, and there were some A's people there, and I sort of half apologized. The Donovan Solano, Lamont Wade home runs over in Oakland at the Coliseum when the Giants came back in the late innings and won those 2 games. Now, those were painful losses for the A's, huge wins for the Giants.
So much fun. I mean, that's the thing about a good year. You remember it, and you sit around with a group of people that watched it with you, and they'll remember things, then you'll remember things, and you start layering story on top of each other. It's so much fun.
So true. Yeah, then there was the Tauchman home run in Texas, but wait, what about the Tauchman catch in LA to Rob Pujols and just sort of unspools?
I guess he's in Japan this year, or Korea. I know he's on the Pacific Rim.
That's a walk. That's the first base runner for the Giants. And that's it for Yaz. I think. New left fielder Clint Frazier is out. New center fielder. New first baseman. Like how I'm being real specific.
That's all we got.
I mean, it is a little, we can't take out the binoculars and do it for ourselves. So we're kind of waiting for a little help. We got a number 99 in the game for the Cubs. I saw that.
Yeah, well, you know.
I don't even have a number 99. Do you have a number 99 on your Cubs roster?
Yeah, Delvin Zinn.
Okay, all right. Sorry, Delvin. Maybe playing shortstop.
Well, he was standing out there, so.
That's Elliot Ramos, isn't it, as the pinch runner for Mike Yastrzemski?
Look like him. Yeah, that's Elliot Ramos.
Yeah, if there's a guy on the field in a Giants uniform who looks like he could be an NFL running back, that's Elliot Ramos.
Yeah. Or Ka'ai Tom.
Or Ka'ai Tom.
Who was a great high school running back in Honolulu.
Over pulls that one foul. So the first baseman for the there's Elliott in full view. First baseman for the Cubs is Jared Young. So we got that. Wilmer struck out looking back in the first inning.
You know, you talk about Elliot Ramos, and he's 22 years old.
Yeah.
Seems like he's been around for 6 years, which he has been. But to watch him grow and fill out, I mean, he's a man now.
He's got a ton of natural ability, and I think this will be the year where we first see him get a chance at the big league level. That was a good slider there. And we'll see when that comes. We'll see what kind of opportunity he gets, what creates it, whether he forces his way up or what. But I think Elliot Ramos is going to break through and be a big leaguer this year at some point.
I totally agree. I mean, there's been talk that the Giants may be looking for another right-handed hitter. He may be that guy.
Here's Jason Krzan. I think that would be the last piece of the puzzle. I think the Giants are very happy with their roster as is. But I think if there's one last move to be made, probably on the offensive side, probably a right-handed hitter. And it's possible that the presence of Elliot Ramos means that it'd be more likely to be an infielder than an outfielder.
So if you're Elliot Ramos, you got to start taking ground balls.
Big curveball.
I mean, it was great when Rich Aurelio was right there on the cusp to make the team. I mean, he was taking fly balls and ground balls. He was catching bullpens. I mean, he was making himself a commodity. And he, as all young players, he would do anything to get to the big leagues.
Got him to chase there. Krzan goes down. 2 down.
But I do love that about the game.
All right. Bradley Beasley is in left field. Zach Davis is in center field. We got Zinn in the game at short and Young at first. Mike Yastrzemski's night is over. How do you like those new spring training lids?
Well, you know, they're mesh hats, but they're pro fit. I've never seen those. I mean, that looks like a really cool hat. I mean, I always thought that the one hinky thing about the mesh hats was they were, you know, they had that strap at the back where one size fits all.
I have a few of those giveaway items that I still wear around the house.
Oh, yeah. Those are called painting hats at our house. Put your painting hat on.
Yeah, I might have to get my hands on one of those spring training hats.
And it's all around baseball.
All right, so this is Pareda, the catcher. Joey Bart got one at bat. Pareda chops one to third. And the play made for out number 3. The Giants get a base runner but do not score. We will go to inning number 5 from Scottsdale. 6-0 Cubs. At Oracle Park, just 3 weeks away. Opening day, all games on sale right now. Opening day Friday, April 8th. The pregame celebration before the 1:35 first pitch against the Miami Marlins. And I know the schedule is a little different now than most of the offseason. Giants will open at home because of the rework schedule. And we're going to celebrate the 107 wins from last year. Get 2022 kicked off. sfgiants.com/tickets, the place to go.
The Florida Marlins, or the Miami Marlins. Beg your pardon.
So that'll be the first Giants opponent of the year, and that'll happen 3 weeks from tonight. Mike Yastrzemski, great to see Yaz on the field tonight. Dave Fleming, Mike Krukow. How did it feel to be back in front of fans in a ballpark? What was it like to get your season started tonight?
Fantastic. Nice to see you guys kind of from a distance,
Kinda?
but yeah. It's been great. You know, it feels normal again, and hopefully, you know, we're getting back to our normal routines and being able to spend more time here, and you know, it's just nice to be around the guys again.
Well, you got to do something tonight that you've never done before. Before the game, you got to take a picture before the first game of the season with your daughter. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a special moment. You know, I didn't think it was going to be that impactful being spring training, but there were a lot of emotions involved. You know, that was really special for me. I was happy to be able to do that.
How's Quinley May doing?
She's doing fantastic. She's been a great sleeper so far, knock on wood. My wife Paige has been an absolute rock star with her. She's been an unbelievable mom already, so it's been fun to watch her be able to do that. So it's made it for some good memories already.
Yeah, you probably couldn't see it. We were just showing. We got some great images of the three of you on the field before the game. That was fun to watch. Really fun.
I was shocked that she kept the bow on. You know, she typically doesn't like keeping the bow on. She'll take it off and throw it away real quick, but she cooperated tonight for the photo op.
See, even she knew it was a special night tonight.
Exactly.
How old is she now? When was she born?
She's 3 months, December 3rd.
So we were bragging about you that you were waking up for the 2 o'clock feedings and helping out.
For a little bit.
Is that a bad scouting report?
It's a strong early scouting report. As of late, she's done really good, and Paige has let me sleep knowing how important it is to get the recovery. So she's been the best teammate for sure.
Yeah, I use that same excuse too.
Recovery. Sorry, honey. Got to recover.
Exactly.
Well, we heard some stories, Yaz, about you in the offseason with your gang of Vanderbilt buddies and some other folks who live near you, trying to use the talent that you all have in your friend group to in a weird offseason get ready for the regular season. How'd it go?
It was unbelievable to have. You know, to have Kurt, to have like a workout buddy was really nice. I wasn't the only one doing Brad's crazy workouts. So that made it a lot more tolerable and wasn't as frustrated with it. And then having guys who were doing different type of stuff like Frazier and Phil Gosselin, a lot of action at first. You know, Kyle Wright was there. There was a lot of guys that have a lot of history in the league so far that have had great careers, and it's fun to pick their brains and be able to hang out with them.
When you say pick their brains, what are some of the things that you think you could pick up and get better being around guys like that?
I was trying to work on that flare to left that Frazier hits, the one that always is a hit. And his best advice was to miss the barrel. And, you know, I never thought about it that way. You know, just get jammed, hit it off the end. Hitting is not just hitting the ball hard. It's being a smart hitter, and he's one of the smartest there is. So it was fun to work on that a little bit.
Yeah, you'll wear out a set of thumbs doing it, but, you know, hey.
Yeah.
How is this?
Webby's claim to fame was that he had more hard hit barrels than Frazier did last year, so it was fun to watch that.
The last pitcher to hit a home run. Now you get the DH, and now look, I don't expect you're going to get a ton of at bats as a DH this year, but it is obviously a huge change in the National League, and I would think for somebody like you it might be a chance every once in a while to take a day where it's not a full day off, still stay in the lineup and get off your feet a little bit.
I would enjoy that a lot, to be honest with you. But you know, I think we've got a couple other guys who will prioritize that, are a little older, I'll say, you know, and you know, maybe a little may need that a little more than I do. So I'll let them take them when they need them. But I'd love one or two, just a couple in there.
I think we can make that happen. Oof. Close pitch.
Mike, this is the first year you've had a pretty normal spring training clubhouse, given the COVID protocol you've had the last couple of years. How is it different? How much better is it?
It's amazing to not have that anxiety like kind of looming over you. Is just one of those things that we're just trying to get rid of and trying to get back to normal and be ready to go. So it's fun, Boy Voss.
Well, we love seeing you on the field. We love seeing you and the fam on the field before the game. Great to talk to you, Yaz, and have a great spring.
Yeah, one question for you, Dave. How's the swing?
Yeah, pretty good. Thank you for asking.
All right.
Let's say your car needs a new part, like
Women's history by recognizing those who have paved the way in sports and beyond. Go to NBCSportsBayArea.com/women's history to watch the full features.
6-0 Cubs lead. We go to the bottom of the fifth. There's just no more delightful guy in baseball right now than Mike Yastrzemski. So it's great to see him out on the field, talk to him, see that big smile, see him with his 3-month-old daughter. Jonathan Holder comes in to pitch for the Cubs.
Yeah, he's a good vibe to be around.
Pitched last year in the minor leagues. Jason Vossler gets his second at bat of the game.
And we talked about his road that he traveled to get to the big leagues, and there were some setbacks. Guys went by him that he thought that he was better, and he never voiced that. He never said it out loud, but he felt that. And then in the end, he finally got a chance at the big league level, and boy, did he jump all over it. But his road will never allow him to feel completely comfortable. He could sign a 10-year contract, and he's still not going to take one day in the big leagues for granted. And it's just a great attitude to have. When you think about it, it's a great attitude to have in life.
It is.
But he's an easy guy to root for and a good teammate. But it was really interesting to hear him talk about how things are different in the clubhouse now that the COVID protocol has been lifted. And there's a freedom in there that hasn't been there for 2 years. Some guys in their big league experience have never experienced what it was like before COVID.
Kind of hard to even imagine that, but it's true.
I mean, we're allowed back in the clubhouse this year for the first time in 2 years.
I mean, think back to the real COVID year, 2020. The Giants players in that spring training were sequestered in different parts of the big league ballpark. They've set up like makeshift rooms for small group. That's crazy.
They had to divide the group because if one group got infected, the whole group wouldn't.
Vossler to center, out number one.
I mean, it's incredible what they sort of just did on the fly. I mean, there was no protocol for this. Nobody had ever written anything like this. I guess you could go back to the early 1900s and talk about the Spanish flu, but there was no, I don't think that the baseball players were doing a whole lot of different, but I mean, it was remarkable how they got through it. But now this year, the veil is off, and these guys, the culture of the clubhouse, which has always been so special in the game of baseball, is back.
I feel so good for those players who get to have it back. It's just a huge part of what being a ball player is about.
Yeah, and on the road, they can go out and have dinner. They can go out, go to a museum. They could go out and see a city. They couldn't do that for 2 years.
I mean, a little bit of that, I guess, late last year got lifted a little, but not much. All right, we got some more changes for the Cubs. Crook in right field. Giambroni at third. And Sepulveda at second. Got it?
Yeah. Crook, Giambroni, and Sepulveda.
Yeah. Now we know the Cactus League is really underway.
Oh, yeah.
The scorecard looks like you spilled a bunch of ink on it. And
the dreaded 5th and 7th innings. That's where they get you.
That one on the outside. 2-2 to Luis Gonzalez. Giants like this guy's command of the strike zone as a hitter. He's always had that in the minor leagues. He's had a lot of experience at the upper levels of the minor leagues. So he's a name just to kind of keep in mind. Stays alive. Kind of fits that mold. Giants have done such a great job. Yastrzemski would be maybe example number one of that, but he would do. They've done such a great job of identifying and finding players with that skill set. Lamont Wade has it. If you control the strike zone as a hitter, the Giants feel like they can use that and help you get better in other ways.
That's one of the hardest things to develop as a hitter. What's the one thing they say to every hitter before he goes up there? Get a good pitch to hit. Well, easier said than done when you start talking about what big league pitchers can throw.
Pull that one on the ground to first. Holder covering 2 down.
I always remember the Ted Williams book of hitting, and he had a grid that showed the area of the strike zone and outside the strike zone where Ted Williams would hit 450 if the ball was right down the middle. He'd hit 219 if the ball was down and away at the knees. And then all the locations of there must have been about 60 of the locations that were defined by what he would hit in that location. But to be able to define that zone and be able to react to a zone that is in the strike zone, it's hard. That's one of those things you're talking about when you take a year away from a hitter that stunts a guy's growth. It's that right there,
so
learning
true.
how to define that strike zone. Get a good pitch to hit. Have the discipline to lay off pitches out of the strike zone.
High fastball there to Jalen Davis. It's 1-1.
This is the week of spring training. We see a lot of that. Fastballs thrown right by guys. I mean, you're not used to hitting 95-mile-an-hour plus fastballs, it's your old high school field against a pitching machine.
Hard to simulate this. By the way, Ted Williams was way ahead of his time.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, the way he understood hitting and launch angle without calling it what we call it today.
And he was a tall hitter. He did all that as a tall hitter, and that I think is even more unbelievable when you think about all the things he did, all the contact that he made, the average that he hit for, and the home runs and the power. I mean, he was the whole package. Tall hitters, they're disadvantaged because of their height, because of the length of their arms.
I mean, I know that he did a lot of what he did just based on feel and experience and learning over years of repetition. But I think Ted Williams, if he were around today, would absolutely love all the technology and the way hitters can learn about their swings, learn about how the ball reacts off the bat. I think he would eat that stuff up.
Yeah, I agree. He was 6'3".
Tight, look out.
That's another thing you don't see when you're taking BP in the backfield. I mean, this is right at his head. And that's something you have to absolutely rely on your instincts to get out of the way. Because you don't practice that.
Holder did not want to go back up and in.
No, I mean, and you know that too. Earlier this year, in the year as a pitcher, you're disadvantaged too because you fly that front side, you drag your arm, and you don't know where it's going.
3-2, got him on a foul tip. So that's a strikeout for Holder. The Giants go down quietly, and we go to the 6th in Scottsdale. Cubs lead 6-0.
$5 flash sale for all April and May games except opening day. It's all presented by Visa. Save up to 80% on tickets right now through Monday night. You have to act before Monday night. This is going to go away. Special club and lower level pricing is also available, subject to availability. Get your $5 tickets at sfgiants.com/Visa.
So every game but opening day.
Yep.
Even the A's.
Yep.
Even the Mets. Even the Cardinals.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
All April and May games.
$5.
$5. 5 Bungeros.
A welcome back to baseball. Raynel Espinal, who did pitch last inning. We were talking to Mike Yastrzemski, so no offense to Raynel. We did not introduce him in the game. We should have. He pitched in AAA last year in the Red Sox organization.
He's got 1 day in the big leagues.
1 day.
Yeah, he pitched 2 innings.
Okay, how'd it go?
Gave up a couple runs, but you go to Baseball Reference and you look up his experience in the big leagues, and I've never seen this. 1 day.
Did he go? Yeah, he did. He got the swing and miss there. Well, I think he would like day number 2 and 3 and beyond.
A high fastball right above the hands winds up being a great mistake. And those are definitely pitches you have a word with yourself as you're heading back to the dugout. It's kind of a survival pitch.
So Raynel Espinal spins a little slider in there. Delvin Zinn takes strike 1. You think if he makes it to the big leagues with the Giants, Raynel is going to be thrilled to introduce Raynel?
Yeah. Raynel Brooks Espinal pitching for the Giants.
Perfect.
We can't wait to see our Energizer Bunny.
Yeah. See and hear. All right, Hunter Bishop's in the game. So is Will Toffee at third. Jimmy Glowinski is in at second. So some good, talented young Giants players are in this game now. Guys who don't have much experience, even in an exhibition game on a stage like this.
Where's Jimmy Glowinski going?
He's going to second base.
All right, got it.
By all accounts, that young man can hit.
I'm looking forward to that.
Just outside.
I just think that's one of the really cool things about spring training is getting to see the youngsters.
Yep. (3-2). That one was hit well down the left field line. A long run, and it's right inside the line. A fair ball. Gonzalez couldn't get to it, and then it bounced up over the wall. That's a double for Delvin Zinn.
Take a look at the location, just belt high middle in. And the only way you get at that location is if you're looking for it. Just manages to keep it fair.
So that's a 1-out extra base hit for the Cubs. I know it's a spring game, and I know my scorecard is a mess, but the Giants still don't have a hit. You have the same thing?
No hit.
Okay.
They've had one base runner, a Mike Yastrzemski walk to lead off the fourth. And there has been no runner to get to second base. It's the first day of spring. It's an issue if it's July.
That one line to right, hanging for Ramos. 2 down. I think everybody would feel better if the Giants just make sure they get a hit tonight.
Yeah, Glowinski's going to get the hit.
Okay. I think he's coming up. 5 spots from now.
There you go.
We think. This is not Schwindel. This is Jared Young, who came in for Schwindel. Left-handed hitter. Giants play tomorrow. We were talking about it up in Talking Stick, north of Scottsdale Stadium.
And you'll be there.
Giants and the Rockies. So John and I will have a radio broadcast. No TV tomorrow or Sunday. We got to make the long trip on Sunday out to Goodyear. You ever been to Goodyear?
Oh, yeah.
And then you and I will be back on the television side on Monday night. Giants will play the Brewers from Scottsdale Stadium. That's our next telecast. Young to center field. Hunter Bishop is there for out number 3. One of the biggest Giants prospects in the minor leagues. 6-0 Cubs, middle 6. Cubs, bottom of the 6th from Scottsdale Stadium, the Cactus League opener for the Giants. Well, we were just talking about it. Our next Giants telecast will be Monday night. Another night game at Scottsdale Stadium, 7 o'clock. Is when we will come on the air for the Giants and the Brewers. Brewers signed Andrew McCutchen just a few days ago. So see if Andrew McCutchen comes over and plays in the road game right here on NBC Sports Bay Area. Brewers figure to be again one of the top teams in the National League. Giants have a strange schedule lined up with the Brewers this year because the Brewers were supposed to be the second series of the whole season, and it got bumped with the delay because of the lockout. Guy Tom hitting for the second time. Gabe Kapler's talked about what a grind the early season's going to be for the Giants. Steven Gonsalves is the new pitcher. Ron Wotus, he's not going to be in uniform in the big league dugout once the regular season starts, but he's there in Scottsdale. That's great to see.
It's like you never left.
I know. Wait a minute, Ron. I thought you retired.
No, he can't stay away.
No.
Put the uniform on.
We don't want him to stay away. We want him around as much as possible.
Well, he is. I mean, he's a consultant. He's part of the Giants front office now.
Yeah.
Baseball ops. Good guy.
So the Giants just finished that thought about the Giants and the Brewers in the regular season. That one high. Giants will play their first road trip. They're going to Cleveland, they're going to New York, and they're going to Washington, D.C. And now they're tacking on one game at the end of that on an off day, sort of a stopover in Milwaukee to play one game and then come home. Then before they go to Chicago to play the Cubs, that's strike 3 swinging late in the year, they'll use an off day and go play a doubleheader in Milwaukee against the Brewers. So that's unusual.
Well, I mean, I didn't know how they were going to get 162 in once they had canceled a week's worth of games. But you know what? I haven't heard one complaint from anybody. Certainly not the players.
No, everybody's glad we're going to get 162 in.
Yeah. Steven Gonsalves, the new pitcher now for the Cubs, left-handed San Diego native.
Yeah, speaking of San Diego, that's the other series that got wiped out. The Giants were going to open in San Diego against the Padres. That'll be added on to the end of the year. So instead of finishing at home on a weekend, the Giants will play 3 games at the end of the season in San Diego against the Padres.
I thought it was a pretty good resolve.
Yeah.
I didn't know how they were going to do it, but I mean, the more things that have come out of this negotiation that I'm impressed with.
There's some things that are going to be significant. Man, how about the schedule next year? Not 2022, but
I love it.
2023 is going to be a completely different schedule.
Teams within your division, you normally play 19 times. 18 times, you're going to play 14 times. Teams away from your division in your league, you're going to play a home and away series. It's 6 games. And then you're going to play every team in the American League, one 3-game series. And you'll rotate home and away every other year. But you're going to see every team every year.
The Giants and the Red Sox will play every single season, at least one series.
How cool is that?
I mean, that is a big change, and I think it's a good change.
I think it's incredible. I love it.
The complaint I always had about interleague was we didn't get to see those teams enough. Yeah, it was so irregular, and now you're going to see them every year.
The Giants have been, since 1993, they've been to Boston, what, twice?
Yeah.
Well, now you're going to go every other year, and you're going to get 3 days there.
Yeah. That's a big difference.
Yeah, it's like, well, who thought of that? That's brilliant.
And the unbalanced schedule, which has been in play for the last many years, I mean, there are elements of that I like. Where winning a division, you got to play your teams in your division a lot, but I do think it's going to be a nice mix tonight. 19 games against everybody in your division. That's a lot of games.
Now the game clock, where hitters are going to have 14 seconds, pitchers going to have 14 seconds to get in, get ready before, and the pitch has to be thrown. If the pitcher violates it, it's a ball. If a hitter violates it, it's a strike. 19 seconds with men on base. Bigger bases. Which everybody's talking about how it's going to be easier to steal a base. Yeah, you improve your chance to steal a base by 2 or 3 inches. But it creates space at first base. Nobody's talked about this enough. But if you're a pitcher covering first base, it's an awkward play. And too many times you have to go get that base. And now by a bigger base, it's going to give you a little more space to avoid a collision. I like that rule.
Yeah, really good thing. That's high, ball 4. So Mauricio Dubon is aboard. Second walk the Giants have drawn. And I guess those rule changes, which are going to be implemented to varying degrees in the minor leagues this year, we haven't officially heard that they're going to be put in play for 2023, but baseball has the right to do it. They've experimented a lot already in the minor leagues. They're going to do it even more this year.
All right, here's your first hit of the night for
All right.
Giants right here.
Elliot Ramos had a great spring last year. And then the season happened, and Elliott in the minor leagues, wasn't that he had a bad year, but I think everybody, including me, thought, well, this guy's just going to explode. He looks so good, and he's, as you pointed out, he's only 22 years old. 1-1, took the fastball.
Well, when he first signed, I mean, he was just barely 17 years old. And his hand strength, when you shook his hand.
Runner going, Dubon, the throw, got him.
His hand strength stood out. And now, I mean, you referred to him as a running back playing baseball, and it's true. I mean, he's a big fella. Take a look at the jump. Not a bad jump. Just a great throw. I think you're going to see the Giants do that a lot in spring training. They're going to run. It's one part of their game I think they would love to improve upon.
That one is called strike 3. Right there on the inside corner. Nice pitch. So Ramos not the first hit for the Giants. Still looking for that. We'll go to the 7th. Even just a practice game in the Cactus League. 6-0 Cubs lead. Giants have a new pitcher. It is a right-hander, Luis Ortiz. He throws hard. Last year in AAA, his big league experience a couple years ago with the Baltimore Orioles, but an arm that is pretty exciting.
Well, he averages a strikeout an inning, 44 strikeouts in 43 innings. I mean, the way he's built looks like he throws hard.
So Ortiz takes over on the mound. Marco Luciano, who is still so young but so talented, takes over at shortstop for Mauricio Dubon. So Luciano is in the game. I think this is Beasley for the Cubs. And a first pitch strike. Hey, look who joins us. We just mentioned he gets a chance to get out of his first Cactus League game. Mauricio Dubon, great to see you back on the field, Mauricio. Dave Fleming, Mike Krukow, we're here in San Francisco. How's it feel to put the uniform back on?
Oh, it's crazy, you know, going back to the field and put the orange and black again. It's pretty special.
Is it tough to see right now?
Oh my God, it is. It is really tough to see. Even in, like, there's like a Webby was saying that he couldn't see the signs at all.
Well, if a pitcher can't see him, how do you see him from shortstop?
Oh, same. That's why I went a lot with him, just to make sure, like, to figure out what they were throwing, just to have an idea of what's going on.
It's the seventh inning. The Cubs and the Giants from Scottsdale Stadium. Mauricio nice enough to give us a few minutes from the Giants dugout with the headsets on. That one gets by first base into right field. So a base runner for the Cubs here against Luis Ortiz. How many, you know, it's always interesting. You show up at spring training. How many new faces? How many familiar faces? What's the mix like this year?
You know, it's crazy. Like Ortiz, I know Ortiz from high school. I mean, he's from Fresno, so I know from him. I was with him in the Brewers. There's a lot of guys that I know here that I play with, but it's kind of weird just seeing him as teammates. But it's fun to have these guys around.
From high school, huh? Was he throwing hard back then?
Oh yeah, he was nasty. He's still nasty. It's
Sanger
crazy
High School.
how these guys so talented.
That's pretty cool. Old memory from your days up around Sacramento, and Luis from Fresno, some high school ball.
Sanger High. Mauricio, how much fun are you having back on the field again? Seriously.
Oh, it's so fun. It's so fun. You know, it's crazy. Like, you out here working. What a good throw. Oh my God.
Great throw.
It's crazy just being out here and you know, doing again and working some stuff. Me and Antoine been working on try to, you know, bigger lead it, try to jump, try to steal. We talked about before. We don't care how many times I get thrown out this spring training. We're just trying to work and get comfortable for the season.
We thought you got a pretty good jump on that last one. Actually, we watched it on replay.
Too. I did too. It's just he went quick to the plate, but you know, that's what we're working on right now. Just trying to get a bigger lead and trust the stuff we do before the game.
Well, the jump was good, and it was close. You're only out by 10 feet.
So you're working with Antoine on base running. We know Kai Correa always works with you guys on the infield stuff. Any new stuff from Kai? The drills we've seen from him the last couple of years, he's got his own way of teaching. What does Kai have you working on?
It's crazy. It's crazy, you know, how much better I got just by working with him, just going out there, and there's some different stuff that, you know, you don't have an idea what we work on, but he explained us of, like, you know, this works for this, and having him around, it's pretty cool. I mean, you get so much better as a defensive player when you have him around and be able to listen to him and you know, just being guided by him. It's pretty special.
You know, one of the things that we were really impressed with you last year, at this time in spring training, they asked you, what was your favorite position? You said, didn't make a difference. I just want to play. Are you still taking equal reps in the outfield as you are in the infield now?
You know, I do the live reads in the outfield, and I do a lot of work at short and second and third. You know, pretty much I work a lot this offseason on just literally all positions except for pitching and catching.
But you'd like to pitch at least one inning.
I don't mind. I'll go throw, see how hard I can throw.
Yeah, well, we think you could get that radar gun working a little bit.
Oh, 95 easy.
A little.
But you'd have to have three steps to run up on it, though.
little pull down so I can throw that hard.
I wouldn't be surprised if you launched one up there 95. You got a good arm.
Try same thing. You know, it's crazy. I have the carry on the. We were working on that with Kai, just getting the carry of the baseball. Try to look nice and easy. It's working a lot. I mean, we're working towards the season and first game. You know, I'm not bad about it. It's a thing like, you know, first ABs. I think I had four live VPs, and I think 2 of them was with McGee and Rogers, so I didn't swing at that one.
What type of advice would you give a young player to strengthen his arm? What's a good tip for him?
You know, just do long toss. Long toss. I'm not saying go out there and throw long every day, but, you know, go long toss and take care of your arm. For me, the thing that works, I do long toss at least in the offseason, at least twice a week. For me, it's twice a week because I throw a lot of baseballs to the shortstop and from the shortstop from my position, but I go twice a week. Twice a week, go long toss and try to get on top of that ball, and so you can get that good carry.
So when you say you throw long, how many feet do you throw when you throw long?
I try to go from pole to pole. From pole to pole, just try to go as hard, just a pull down. I mean, I'm at least 5 good throws like that. You know, it's a progression, so you just go out there and try to, you know, get some good carry on that baseball.
Will pop up behind second for the second out.
So you throw from foul pole to foul pole, the length of the field.
I try to throw that. I'm not saying like I clear that thing, but I try to throw that thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. Were you in South Florida most of the offseason, Mauricio?
Oof, I was all over the place. You know, I think my whole December I spent it traveling around the world. I went with my wife to Bora Bora, then Spain, then Switzerland, and then back to Honduras.
Well, what was the best place?
You know, I would say Bora Bora. It's unreal. You know, you see a lot of pictures like that, and now when you're up there, you think like, man, it looks like the picture. But I think Bora Bora was the most awesome place.
You stay in one of those bungalows on the stilts over the water?
We did. It was pretty unreal. It was pretty unreal. Like, it was the best experience right there, just going out there.
That's what I think of when I think. I've never been to Bora Bora, but if I close my eyes and think of Bora Bora, I think of those little bungalows.
Same. We swam with sharks, swam with manta rays. We saw with a bunch of stuff that never in my life I would have thought I would get into that.
And a lot different in Switzerland. That's a long way from Bora Bora.
Oh, yes. So we came, actually, after Bora Bora, we came to Miami for like 2 days, repack our stuff, got our cold gear stuff, and then we headed to Spain first and then to Switzerland.
Now that sounds like an off-season well spent. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, it was fun. And then I got my religious wedding, too. It was unreal.
Wow, congratulations. That's a lot of stuff that happened.
Thank you. Oh, it was fun off season.
So then you get back to South Florida. I know there are a lot of ball players there. Did you have a group of guys you were able to sort of use to help with your workouts?
Oh yeah, I had Miggy Cabrera, I had Genio Suarez. I got one of the guys from here, Adrianza. I had there's a bunch of guys out there going. I think Bo Bichette came for a little bit. I had Jazz Chisholm. I mean, a bunch of the guys that, you know, big name guys out there, and just help out with the mindset and everything.
Well, you definitely came into camp in great shape and with great expectation. What are your goals this year?
You know, it's just going out there and play, and usually, like, just go in there and have the same plan that I have in spring training. Same thing. I mean, try to hit what I can drive, and I try to do that. This 2 at-bats that I did, and you know, good throw.
Another good throw.
Early in the spring, you know, just trying to stick with that, and I know how great success if I stick with that.
Awesome. Great to see you. Great to talk to you. Thanks for giving us some time, Mauricio.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, guys.
Have a great Cactus League. We go to the bottom of Scottsdale Stadium. 6-0 Cubs. Cubs, after a solid inning from Steven Gonsalves, now back into their bullpen. Another left-hander coming in for the Cubs. Locke St. John.
Another guy who's got outstanding strikeout totals, 3-to-1 strikeout walk ratio and 75 punch-outs and 59 1/3. So, you know, you see those numbers, and now you want to see how he does it. And the guys who are hitting off him, it's the same deal. They know he has strikeout stuff. Face any pitcher, guys you've never even heard of before in spring training, and then you got strikeout numbers like this guy has, You don't want to get deep in the count against him. You want to beat him early.
He's got sort of that funky motion, but he wasn't just. He started 5 games last year in the minor leagues. Giants are still looking for their first hit tonight on the night where they kick off the Cactus League schedule.
Yeah, you know, that starting statistic, I used to kind of really could rely upon it, but not anymore.
Yeah, you can't really totally trust it.
No, because of the starter. You know, a guy goes out there and throws 1 inning, and that's a start.
He pitched 58 innings, so 36 outings, 58, 59 innings. There was a little extension there, but you're right. I mean, for me, the strikeout totals even, I don't trust those in the same way that I used to trust them.
Good point. And the reason for it is guys are not making adjustments in 2-strike counts. They want to do damage with every swing that they take. And because of that, guys are striking out more.
All right, is this our guy? Is this? I don't know that this is Jimmy Glowinski. I don't think it is. This is David Villar.
No, you're exactly right. Did we run a promo for $5 games?
We did. Any game, Villar kind of unloaded on that one down the left field line, but he pulled it foul. Any game in the first 2 months of the year, April and May, other than opening day. Now, not every seat in the ballpark, but there are some seats for every April and May game other than opening day for $5 through Monday night. That's worth mentioning again. And there are good deals on club and lower level seats too. David Villar's got big power. I think we're going to see him at Oracle Park someday.
Well, 20 home runs last year in Richmond, and that's not an easy league to hit home runs in.
And that's a very tough home run park.
Double-A ball.
Got him with the breaking ball. Well, we're here in San Francisco, but look who's down there at Scottsdale Stadium. There's John and Sean Estes doing the radio broadcast tonight.
Kahuna breaking out his Hawaiian shirt.
Hi, John. Hi.
Hey, Kahuna. Hey, Sean.
It's bad positioning behind the little post there. Looks like you in the 2012 playoffs.
Cincinnati.
One of my all-time favorite pictures. All-time favorite pictures. The 4 of us were crammed in the booth in Cincinnati. Little chopper to short for out number 2. Glowinski is retired. And so Mike was going to sit in the middle, and we were going to squeeze in and do our 4-man radio playoff broadcast, those games that we love and cherish so much. And in Cincinnati, there's one of those posts right in the middle, and you were sitting directly behind the post.
Well, first of all, you know, you and John so graciously accept Kipe and I to come into the booth where there's not another radio broadcast team in baseball that does that. When the season's over, the television crew goes one way, and the radio broadcast team, they take it through the playoffs. But you guys have said, come on in. And the 4 of us, is the one thing that we're most proud of is what we've been able to do during those playoffs. Me coming in to your territory, I am not going to take the good seat. I'm going to take what I can get. And you walk in there, and I'm sitting behind this thing, and you took the picture from behind it, and it is hysterical.
It is one of the all-time great photos.
That's my view.
Mike's seat for a playoff broadcast.
But you loved every pitch.
You moved to the side for Posey's grand slam, didn't you?
Yeah, just barely. Yeah, what a series that was. Holy cow.
Great series.
Remember, that was a 5-game series. The Giants opened it up in San Francisco and lost the first 2 games. Going to Cincinnati, and there wasn't anybody that thought they were coming back to San Francisco, and they swept the Reds in Cincinnati.
The Hunter Pence speech, yeah, it was 10 years ago. That's a decade ago.
We were in the clubhouse, and there's a little waiting area in the clubhouse, but you know, you turn right and you're in the clubhouse. And we were just sitting in there. We heard the Hunter Pence speech, and we wanted to suit up. It was a good one.
I miss a little inside broadcast stuff, but I mean, what we do on a day-to-day basis, we absolutely love. And we get to do the post-game wrap every night after the Giants games, and we love those too. But truly those playoff games where the four of us are all together those are my favorite memories.
Yeah,
they are.
No question. It's what I'm most proud of.
And Giants fans have gotten good over the years of, in the older days, it was sort of how do you sync up your radio feed with your television feed. I mean, now everybody's pretty good at it now.
Yeah, they've got it figured out.
I hope we do some more of those this year.
When the town lights up and it's in October and the shadows of the fall are starting to come across the field, I mean, the whole thing is just so magical. And to be able to be the guys that were telling the story of three climbs up the mountain and plant the flag. Amazing. St. John thought he had strike three of that little backdoor breaking ball.
I mean, even last year, it only lasted 5 games, but an all-time classic playoff series, Giants-Dodgers.
Well, it just sort of capped off one of the most remarkable seasons that the Dodgers and Giants have ever had. I mean, the Dodgers won more games than they'd ever won in any single season, and they finished in second place. The Giants won 107 games. They'd never done that in their 139-year history.
And the end of that, I mean, the Dodgers won the last 7 games of the regular season. They wouldn't lose.
They would not give it up. It was just amazing.
3-2 here to Pareda, the catcher who came in for Joey Bart early in this game. That's ball 4, 2-out walk.
And you know what else I liked about what we saw last year in that regular season was the way that both teams respected the rivalry. They played it hard. And I mean, they didn't have a lot left. I mean, it was pretty much, they just banged heads for 162 games in a beautiful way.
I think it did end up costing them both. I mean, the Giants were a tired group at the end of the year. The Dodgers, after they found a way to get through the Giants, were spent for the next series against the Braves. And it was worth it.
Oh, it's just incredible.
1-1.
You know, we were on the 1986 team that the Giants brought back 30 years later, and they had a day for us. And the applause that we had, because there was a team that resurrected itself after a 100-loss season in 1985. What the Giants team did last year, even though they didn't win in the playoffs, what they accomplished in the 162-game season will never be forgotten. And you can endear yourself to your fan base even in a season when you don't win a world championship because of the effort you gave for that season. And that's what they did last year.
In 2031, we will be having a celebration of that Giants team.
No question.
We will be.
No question.
And 2041?
Yep.
We will.
That's my goal. My goal is to get to the 20th.
Get to the 20th.
20 years from now, I want to be there.
That's a good goal.
Darn right.
1-2. This is kind of a tough at bat, isn't it, for young Will Toffee?
That's a good pitch right there. Keep in mind, this is day 1 of spring training, and you're getting some fuzz like that thrown at you with great location.
That one popped up. Out number 3. So we go to the 8th. Hi, John. Hi, Sean. Giants trail 6-0.
The camera on your phone.
All right, inning number 8. It is 6-0 Cubs. Cactus League opener for the Giants from Scottsdale Stadium. And I think we have some more changes, although, again, it takes us a minute here, the way we have this spring set up, just to confirm those changes. Luis Ortiz is still on the mound, the right-hander. who played against Mauricio Dubon in high school. That's kind of a cool little nugget we found out from Mauricio.
Valley boy. A couple of them getting after it. Good baseball coming out of the Valley.
Real good. All right, Bryce Johnson is in left field. Good young outfielder in the Giants system. It's Ortiz. That one kind of hung a little bit, and it was hit hard to deep left center field off the bottom of the wall. Hunter Bishop plays the carom. That's a triple. Pretty good swing there.
Well, he thought he had a home run. I give him credit for busting his tail out of the box. As he thinks he gets it. But picked the speed up about halfway to first and coasted into third.
Well, nice moment there for Narciso Crook. That's a strike. So that was Crook with the triple. Now this is not Velasquez, is it? It's not. '82. So that's Donnie Dewey's.
Donnie Dewey? Old man Dewey's kid?
With an S at the end.
Oh.
Dewey's.
Dewey's.
There's more than one of them.
See, that's your goal when you get to camp, or when you get to professional baseball. You sign a contract and you say, well, I'm going to make those folks in the city that I'm trying to get to remember my name.
Yeah, he's not that worried about Fleming and Krukow. He's Shambi and Deshays, though. He wants them to get it right.
Yeah.
There's Donnie.
Donnie Dewey's. Dewey's? See, he's got to make us learn it.
He rips that one to right. Ramos catches. Well, that's going to be plenty deep enough to score a run. Sacrifice fly for Donnie. 7-0 Cubs.
Good at bat.
It was. So now 1 out. Base is empty. This is Trent Giambrone. He would kind of fall in that same category for me. I can't swear that I'm getting Trent.
No, you got Giambrone right.
You think
right
so?
on. Oh, yeah. You know, it's great when you are going to your first big league camp. You know, you just kind of know that you're going to get the crumbs. You're going to get the at bat after sitting on the bench for 3 hours and 40 minutes. You're going to get the inning where, you know, it's the ninth and your team's winning or losing by 14 runs and nobody's in this. You're going to get those innings, and it doesn't matter. There's so much magic putting on a big league uniform and then getting out there and playing on a big league field that in your mind it's the seventh game of the World Series. Maybe just one late at bat where nobody's really paying much attention to it except for you and your family and anybody you've ever met in your life. But it's a big deal. First camp I ever went to, I didn't pitch. It was 1976, and there was a lockout, and we came in late, and all the big leaguers, they got all the reps, they got all the innings because they needed it. Dewey strikes out. 2 down.
No, that's Giambrone.
Giambrone strikes out. That's why I can't do play-by-play. Little things like knowing the right name. But I get to spring training, and and I just had a good seat. Played catch, shagged balls, ran, did the PFPs. That was it.
That was it. You know, it's funny because I asked Gabe Kapler, I kind of thought the same thing, like, man, you know, this condensed spring training and you got 3 weeks to get ready for the year. Are we going to see any of the young guys get a real chance? And Gabe said, absolutely. And I mean, you and I talked about it earlier, but Giants just, they want to work hard in practice. They want to get bodies in shape. They want to get acclimated to baseball again, but they don't believe that their veterans need a lot of innings in these actual exhibition games. They just don't.
Well, and it's the benefit of having a large staff. You know, the Giants have 13 coaches, and they're all over the place. And there's eyes on everybody who is in that big league camp. There's instruction for everybody in that big league camp. They're just very quietly getting everybody ready, and it is so well organized. And every organization can brag the same thing. I mean, they have to be. You have to maximize opportunity for all your players to get them ready for the season, mentally and physically. But this is the era where, you know, slowly every organization is starting to do the same thing, adding more instructors. Young players get up spring training now, and they want them to play. They want them to get in this environment.
Good slider there for strike 3. And that retires the side. But the Cubs add a run, middle of the 8th. 7-0 Cubs.
Forged.
It is 7-0 Cubs leading the Giants from Scottsdale Stadium. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. And we do have some changes for the Cubs, including a new pitcher. Oh, I knew that was Eric Yardley.
Eric Yardley out of Richland, Washington. He's 31 years of age, with almost 2 years of big league experience. Originally signed with the Mariners in 2011. And you can see he's a bit unusual with his delivery right from the side.
I mean, you ever wonder if the success of Tyler Rogers over these last few years has motivated some other teams to start to take maybe a longer, closer look at pitchers who have very different motions?
100%. Because the effectiveness of a guy with an unorthodox motion is so dramatic. And, you know, everybody looks at Rogers, Tyler Rogers, and go, I want that guy. I want a guy like that. I mean, knuckleballers, every once in a while, one guy will show up, and then all of a sudden 4 guys show up. Then they kind of go away for a while. But, you know, we're seeing guys now that throw from the side. They have pretty good velocity. But Tyler Rogers is pretty classic from down in the submarine style. I mean, he's pure submarine, but his velocity is not that loud. He relies on deception and movement and funkiness.
Bryce Johnson hitting here to start off the bottom of the 8th. I mean, I figure that teams have watched Tyler Rogers. Tyler Rogers has been one of the most valuable relief pitchers in the game over these last few years. That one was ripped, and the Giants have a base hit. Bryce Johnson, a little bobble out in right field. Bryce can run, so he's going to easily make it into second, and that should be a double for the first Giants hit of 2022.
And the loudest cheer of the night for the Giants fans in attendance.
There are more than 10,000 people there tonight.
Got to be the best crowd in the Cactus League today. All right. You just can't pour water on their enthusiasm. They will not allow it. Down and in, knee high, drop the head, and start digging. And you mentioned Johnson, who has excellent speed, and sees a little bit of a bobble there, and it's an easy take at second base. He'd have made it even if he picked it up clean.
Yeah. Giants like this guy. I mean, he wasn't a real high pick. He's never been high on the prospects list, but he's just played well.
Well, I mean, he's going to get a pat on the back for getting the first hit of the season.
I mean, here's a guy who is high on those lists, who was picked very high and has not been able to be on the field. I mean, he's had just 2 years of lost time. Now, this is a very big year for ultra talented young Hunter Bishop. Really big year for him.
Well, he's a guy that you want to see, but you just haven't been able to. He's just been hurt. Real bad shoulder injury.
He has got all the natural ability you want to see. He's got every tool.
I think he's a natural low ball hitter, which means facing a guy like this who's got sink from down under, he's going to get something down around the knees. The other thing too about him, from what we've heard, we haven't seen enough of him to see it ourselves. Supposedly his power to the opposite field is outstanding.
So Hunter Bishop, Giants have a base runner, kind of a check swing foul. And look, he's not going to make the Giants team, but it's still an important spring for him just to kind of get back in the swing of things. Just to get set up to have a healthy, productive year in the minor leagues, and then he's going to be on his way. The Giants still very much believe in this guy. Grew up in the Bay Area, grew up a Giants fan. Got him. Change up.
It's great. You wait all winter long, and the first at bat you get is off some submarine guy. What is up with that? Take a look at it.
I mean, I called it a change up.
Yeah, it was definitely off speed, had a little cut to it, or it's just funky.
So 1 out. This is another player who's just a very interesting young guy, Diego Rincones, who, I mean, he doesn't have the pure Pablo Sandoval body type, but he doesn't have great speed. But at every step of the way, including in winter ball at the highest level, this guy is hit. He is a bat to ball pure hitter. One and two. Way outside, and that one gets by the catcher. So Bryce Johnson's going to make it over to third. Now the Giants fans at Scottsdale Stadium can sense a run. They can feel it.
Oh my gosh, place is going to go crazy.
Wait, we have some USA chants? It's not the World Cup. The Ryder Cup.
Oh yeah, they came to Arizona and they're going to have fun no matter what. Can't stop them.
1-2 on the ground, up the middle, base hit, and the Giants have a run. Listen to him cheer.
Yeah, your goal when you get a number like 94 is to get your name on top of your number. It's a good goal.
It's really good. And what I tell you, the guy can hit. I mean, that was kind of a nasty pitch.
Yeah, he fought it off.
Bryce Johnson got it started. Diego Rincones, a couple of young guys get the Giants on the board. Speaking of young guys, Marco Luciano goes after that first pitch into the hole. It's short. They get the out at second. 2 down.
Luciano's a guy that has never met a pitch he won't swing at. And that'll be one of the things as he goes forward, is to try and develop some plate discipline, stay in the strike zone, and get a good pitch to hit.
Yeah. So here's Ramos. Ramos struck out looking his first time up. Had a good cut there. I mean, Marco Luciano over at first base, he's still a teenager, but he'll get challenged. He had a monster year at San Jose, then got pushed up for the playoffs to high A ball, struggled a little bit, and then kind of locked it in. Went to the fall league, struggled a little bit, and then locked. You know, there's some of these guys who it takes them, whatever it is, whether it's a couple weeks, a certain number of at bats, they move up a level, and it takes them a little while to feel comfortable. Luciano's kind of been one of those players in his very young career.
Well, because he's been pushed. When you have talent like that, you just keep throwing them in there.
Yeah, you get challenged for sure.
See how he does.
Well, it looks to me like he's in really good shape. Ramos, a little squibber, and that's going to be probably an infield hit for Elliot Ramos.
I'd say a base hit.
Sure.
Why not? First big league camp, it's so cool because you're going to get opportunity that's late. You're going to get education that starts on the field, in the clubhouse, learn the culture that is in the big leagues. The reward is, you're going to get education, but you get new stuff, new spikes, new batting gloves, new wristbands, new gloves, new bats.
Everybody likes that.
Oh my goodness. It was great when we were playing at Candlestick. You had, over the course of a year, you'll have 12 pairs of shoes in your locker where you're not going to use them all. And once or twice a year, San Jose Giants, the A-ball affiliate, would come up, and these guys would walk in, and they'd see all the shoes you had and the gloves that were in your locker, and you just start, okay, take what you need, kid. And they walk out, and you thought that they just looted Walmart. It was amazing. And they were the happiest guys in the Cal League.
Christmas morning for those guys. VR skies one up there, way up there, deep right center field, and caught right at the edge of the warning track. But the Giants are on the board. They get a run. They've got 3 hits now. 7-1 Cubs. First 3 hits of the spring. They got a run. It's 7-1 Cubs. And it's the 9th inning, and a new pitcher coming in for the Giants. A guy who's been in the Orioles organization, a right-hander, Gray Fenter.
Yeah, former 7th round pick by the Orioles in 2015. 6 feet tall, 200-pounder. That's what he did last year in Boyd, Double-A. 6-4. And again, you look at the strikeouts, 86 and 77 and a third. One thing we've known in watching the Farhan Zaidi era, when you start going into other organizations and invite them into your camp, they always have at least a strikeout an inning. He brings in stuff.
Giants also have a new catcher in the game. This is a guy we're excited to at least get a glimpse of, Brett Auerbach.
Well, Auerbach, he's not a big guy, 5'9", 185-pounder, but he can play in the infield. He's a good middle infielder, and he can legitimately catch. He's not a guy that can just fill in for an inning. He could if somebody goes down, he could catch a week's worth of games for you, and he would do a good job.
This is a Farhan Zaidi kind of player.
Great glove skills out of Mission Viejo.
I mean, he's played some center field in the minor leagues. How many guys catch and play center field?
I mean, that's right out of the Craig Biggio mode.
So he's somebody, I mean, he needs a little more development time. But another one of those players who's not high on the prospect list, but has opened a lot of eyes with performance. Just has played really, really well.
I mean, last year he had 17 home runs, 15 in Eugene, 2 in San Jose. And if you're a super U guy with some pop and you can catch, they'll find a place for you.
I mean, Eugene, I've been to that ballpark. That's no bandbox. That's a big ballpark. That's not an easy place to hit them.
That's the University of Oregon field, right?
Exactly, yeah. It was beautiful, but it's no just home run hitter's haven. Pretty impressive total. On the ground foul. Anyway, just file that name away. I mean, I'm excited to see him. I think it's really cool you got that scouting report too, because when I've heard about him in the minor leagues, he's sort of stereotype a guy who bounces around and plays everywhere. And maybe he's just not that good at the one primary position, or in this case, maybe he could catch. He's an emergency catcher. A little pop up. One away.
You know, I talk about. Some catchers you'll see go down on their left knee. Some will go down on their right knee. More go down their right than their left. I asked Craig Albertez, the Giants catching coach, which do you prefer? He says whichever one is more comfortable. That is totally up to the catcher. And if he doesn't like going down on a knee, stay in the conventional style. Whatever makes you comfortable. It's hard enough to catch the ball, but if you're not comfortable in your setup, and you're doing it just to please a coach, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Do it because you're comfortable. There he is on his right leg. He goes back and forth, and it's something that you don't even notice until you have a conversation with a coach who points it out.
Craig Albertez is a really good coach.
Yeah, he's a fundamental guy that makes sense.
On the ground, nice pick over at first base. I think that's VR who gets up and makes a play. 2 down.
Let's take a look at the defensive ability of VR. Going to his left, slides right into it, 360s. I got it, no throw.
Good play.
Stylish. It's a major league scout in the stands would write, see that play, and he'd write, good feet.
So 2 down, bases empty in the 9th inning. All those years Giants had Bill Hayes, who's a great catching coach, worked with those young Giants catchers.
One of the best I was ever around. I had a chance to play with Billy when he came up with the Cubs. He was a high draft pick.
And they have another good one now. Craig Albertez. Gabe Kapler was just raving about it. While the lockout was being finished, the minor leaguers actually showed up because they weren't subject to the lockout. So they were there in camp for a stretch of time, couple weeks. And the big league coaches had a chance to go over and work with the minor league coaches. And Gabe was telling us that Craig was just, I mean, he was in there every day working with all those young catchers.
Well, if you're going to be a big league coach, you never look at a clock when you're at the ballpark.
No.
You just don't. There's just too much to do. And you really have to love what you're doing because you can't fake it.
Well, they put in more hours than anybody.
Anybody. A big league coach, if there's a 7 o'clock game, big league coaches will get there, 11, 12 o'clock. They'll organize their day, and then all of a sudden, whoever starts to trickle in, they're available. And it goes well out past the game. I mean, guys now, players now, when they play a game, they'll come off the field and they'll go right in the gym and they'll do their reps. They'll work out to maintain their strength, have a bite to eat. And some guys just want to go back and go look at film. They just want to continue to learn.
Nice play there from Toffee to VR for out number 3. So we go to the bottom of the 9th. Last chance for the Giants. 7-1 Cubs. From from Scottsdale Stadium. Put the score aside. We got Cactus League Baseball as the opener for the Giants. They didn't get no hit. They didn't have a hit for a while.
Yeah, wait till the 8th inning to get a hit. But they got it. Got their run, so here we go.
First look at some young Giants players that we haven't had a chance to see in person before. That's been fun tonight.
Another lefty on the hill now for the Cubs. It's going to be Carlos Sepulveda.
I mean, they have a bunch of 84s. Matt Dermody.
This is the other number 84.
They have 3 guys on my roster listed as number 84.
Old 84. So this is Matt Dermody?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Dermody. First name Matt. And for the Giants, it's going to be Jimmy Glowinski. He's been a second baseman mostly in the minor leagues. Yeah, he had some massive injury issues early in the year last year, and the numbers were way down, and he just finished the year on a tear. So the Giants are really excited for him to be healthy again. Some Giants fans are very excited to see Jimmy at the plate.
Yeah, it's got his new shoes on. It's fired up. New bat and gloves. New helmet.
I mean, to your point, you get all the new gear.
Oh, yeah. It's great. You go in the clubhouse, and the way that Brad Grims has set it up, the Giants clubby, that you have the veterans in one area, and, you know, you have the rookies in one area, and it's just great to see. Look inside the lockers and take a look at who has the most stuff.
That was a liner. Nice swing by Glowinski for a leadoff single.
The advice is when you're a young kid going into a big league camp, show up with one pair of shoes and one glove, and then let them take care of you, and they will. Take a look at the hack. It stays down right through the swing.
And that feels good for him. That's Jimmy Glowinski in a big league exhibition game getting a knock.
It's a fluid swing right there.
Yeah, he's got a good swing. So I think this is Brett Auerbach, isn't it?
It is.
Takes outside, ball 1. Very interesting, unique young player.
Well, I got to big league camp in 1976. I came back once I got sent down again. We didn't play, but we got gear, and I had like 4 pair of blue shoes. And I was so pumped because I'd never had anything but black shoes, right? Well, I get sent down, and first day out there, now I'm in Wichita, AAA club, Wichita Arrows. And so I put on my blue shoes, and Doc Edwards is our manager. He walks over, he goes, "What are you doing with those?" I go, "Oh, these are cool, aren't they?" He goes, "Yeah, take them off." Black shoes in Wichita. So I had 4 pairs of blue shoes that stared a hole right through me every day when I came to the ballpark. I wanted to wear them so bad.
That's cruel.
Yeah, that was total cruel. So I had these old tired pair of black Wilsons. Oh my gosh.
Our guy Dermody on the mound. He's got a new pair of blue cleats. Cubs big league camp.
Remember the rule that used to be you had to have like 60% of your shoe had to be one color. You couldn't exceed that with a color, and it was just weird. And Brian Wilson actually got fined for that.
He did.
I think he was the only guy that ever got fined for that. Because I still think it's a rule, but it hasn't been enforced for about 20 years.
I think we came to our senses a little bit on that one. 2-2. That one hit well to center field. And a diving attempt, but no catch. That one's going to roll to the wall. And now we get to see Brett Auerbach run a little bit. Lewenke comes around third. Auerbach's going to end up at third. It's a triple for the young guy.
Well, and he waited well on that breaking ball. I mean, he was not fooled at all. He had good lower body in the swing. Good balance through the swing. This big, slow breaking ball. Boom. Wait on it, drop the head. That's an impressive bat this early in the year because guys are kind of disadvantaged against off-speed stuff. Auerbach was not on that particular swing.
I mean, sometimes we use that qualifier like, oh, he can run for a catcher. He can run.
He can run.
Well, it's nice to see. We've heard a lot about him these last couple of years about, man, there's a young guy he's different, does things a little different.
He'll be on the phone tonight.
For sure. Will Toffee lays off that one. Will Toffee's had 2 at-bats. He's had to face 2 funky left-handers.
That's what you want. You go out and beat some duck out there, ain't a thing. You go out and beat some nastiness, that is a thing.
Well, you know, he's part of the Vanderbilt baseball fraternity, Will Toffee.
Yeah, it's the time for the no-names. But it is a great time.
Great time.
You know, because, look, the team could get beat by a bunch. You get the no-names up there, and they're getting knocks like Lewenke, Auerbach. You go back into the clubhouse after the game, and they're not going to openly act enthusiastic and be excited, but they are. They're pumped up. It was a big league spring training, and you're playing against big leaguers. You got a big league uni on, and there's 10,000 fans in the stands. That's something you're going to be talking about at home tonight. Now, granted, 7,000 of the fans have gone home, and maybe 1 true big leaguer left on the field, but it doesn't matter. In your mind, you've checked off the boxes.
Well, Bryce Johnson, who got the first Giants hit, it was a double last inning. He's a switch hitter, so now we get to see him bat from this side. Switch hitter who can play center field, run a little bit. Hunter Bishop on deck. So the young guys here in the 9th inning. Giants have a run across. And it's 2-1.
You never know.
Never know.
You're talking about Mike Yastrzemski's grand slam. Giants down 7-0 last year. Walk off.
One of my favorite Dwayne Kuiper broadcasting tricks is get down big, get a walk to start the inning. And it all started
with a walk.
2-2. Got him.
Good curveball. Keep in mind, the last one he threw got spanked for a double. Here he snaps off a good one and gets the swing and miss.
So that's the first out here in the bottom of the 9th. Hunter Bishop gets his second at bat. So tomorrow, I know we won't have a telecast, but we will have the radio broadcast. And Tyler Beede is going to start for the Giants tomorrow.
Big spring for Tyler Beede. He's out of options. He needs to make some noise. Positive noise.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to make the team. Otherwise, the Giants have to expose him. And, you know, I mean, as talented, I know it's been a long haul for Tyler Beede, but Giants would be in real risk of losing Tyler.
Well, he's in great shape. I mean, he's going to give himself a chance. He's done the off-season homework.
0-2. Giants still really believe in Tyler Beaty's ability.
You know, it's just a matter of strikes. I mean, they were talking about his last session throwing batting practice through 20 pitches and he threw 17 strikes. They were pumped about that. He's got the stuff. I mean, they're not even gonna give a corner target with him this year. They're gonna say, here, your catcher's right behind the middle of the plate, hit his glove. That's with your stuff, just hit his glove. And that's where he's at. I mean, he's not going to overthink anything. He's just going to go out there and rely on his stuff and get in the strike zone, stay on top of hitters.
Got him with that little slider. 2 down.
And it's amazing what confidence does to a guy. You get a little confidence and all of a sudden you start thinking you're the baddest man on the mountain. And then all of a sudden it happens. I mean, young pitchers get up to the big leagues and they think they have to do more than they ever did because they're in the big leagues. And what they find out is they don't.
Strike one to Diego Rincones.
So it'll be a great story to watch this spring.
Yeah.
Hopefully it works out for him.
It's a really important story for him, for the Giants. I mean, the Giants want him to earn his way onto the team. They do. And we've seen Tyler B. I mean, we've seen the extremes on both ends. You know, one time he got in a game last year, it was not pretty. But the way he finished before he got hurt in 2019, the way he finished that year. Dominating. 0-2.
So, I mean, he knows it. It's in there. You just have to be able to get it out.
Rincones staying alive. He got the hit that scored the first Giants run last inning. Up the middle, off the leg of the pitcher. And that's going to be another hit. And then the throw gets away from first. So Auerbach is in to score. It's 7-3. The game goes on. Toffee scrambles over to third. And the young guys keeping this game going.
Put it in play. Right back up the middle. And just the position he was in to try and catch that ball was bad. Yeah, that's something I don't think he's ever going to be able to change. Your follow through is your follow through, but Giants took advantage of it.
And now Marco Luciano gets another at bat. Might have been a changeup there. So a hit on a run batted in and an error. Luciano, same pitch. It's 0-2. Got him. Stayed with it. And that's the ball game. So Gabe Kapler's team is off and running. The first game of the Cactus League season in 2022 is in the books. And the Cubs beat the Giants by the final score of 7-3 from Scottsdale Stadium. Well, look, the #1 story of the night is